So,
What's up, everybody? This is the Damage Per Second podcast. We are on episode 89. We have an amazing show for you guys, and let's be for real, ain't nothing to talk about out here, so it's super boring, but we found a way to put 4 or 5 topics together, and we're joined with an amazing duo of podcasters that we will get to in a second. But first, I want to announce the man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps, the man that literally won't make a video because he's too busy trying to play games. Slow-mo, what's going on with you, bro?
whoa, hey, I'm working on videos, man.
When's the last time you released a video?
Oh, why you gotta put me on front
The
street
last
like
time
that?
you released a video, I think you had a kid.
What? No, my kids are old, man. My youngest child is 6 years old. Okay,
That's how old your last video is at this point.
Damn.
okay, last uploaded video was in March.
Listen,
That is true. Yeah,
You know
I didn't
YouTube-
realize
you-
it's been that long.
You know YouTube
Probably
don't
The
have
Elden
no,
Ring video, huh?
you know YouTube.
Yeah,
don't
it
hold
was my
favors
Elden
out
Ring
here.
review. Yeah, huh?
You know
you say?
YouTube don't hold favors out here, man. You drop off the algorithm, they drop you real hard. So I'm gonna need you to start making some videos again, sir. But what's going on with you, man?
I mean, look, man, I've been playing games, like you said, man. I've been enjoying my time playing games. I just finished over the past week. Since last episode, I finished The Quarry and I finished Disco Elysium, which took me a good little while. It took about 40 hours to beat that game. Beat that last night. Disco Elysium is I would say it's an acquired taste kind of game. It's a quality RPG, but I know a lot of people who would be like, this ain't for me. Point and click kind of movement and controls with what could be like not a lot of like super like high impact action going on. So I was with it, but I can see a lot of people not liking it, and probably also aren't gonna like that Pentiment game that Obsidian's making. That's
I was
supposed
gonna
to be like
say,
it too.
I think what's name looks better than Pentiment. Disco
Oh
Elysium.
no, okay, far better. It's a different art direction, although they're both using very little like the hardware to run both games ain't exactly going to like break the it's not going to break your wallet or anything. So no, but no, I've been playing that. I've been playing, Road Company as usual. That dead game that Erica keeps reminding me is dead all the time. I've been playing that. I've been Borderlands 2. I've been playing the GOAT looter shooter of all time with Luca. Me and Luca have been having a great time playing that. I've been kind of just getting back into build crafting and I actually kind of at this point copying a build that I did on my Xbox player but for the Siren. But like I'm just starting to like think about like going outside the box with some other stuff, and it's just fun. It's just having fun, man. Playing games. I will make
Playing games?
videos. I will make videos. So
Yeah, playing games. That's always a good thing.
Can I
So
praise Slow-Mo? Because, I mean, Forte, you shaming this man for playing games and not making content. But I'm going to do
right.
the reverse. This man playing games out here. That's a good
wait.
thing.
I actually play
Hey, whoa,
games.
wait, hold up.
I actually
Wait,
played
Right.
more
you can't
games.
do that to him.
Whoa, I
Why
actually
you doing it to him?
Thank
You
you.
don't do it to me. You don't
I
do
am
it to me,
so
though.
happy. I am so happy the backlog is here tonight.
What
I
in
get
the fuck?
back up.
Hold
Wait,
up.
hold
Don't
on,
get
hold on.
jealous, Shar.
Hold-
Don't get jealous.
Why? Yo, I can't. Yo, I'm on solo side, man. Why are we getting slendered for playing games? What the fuck?
No.
What is
That's what
this?
I'm
You
saying.
know,
That's what I'm saying.
No, you can't get slender for playing games because you know what? I played more.
Good.
I played more time in games than all of you guys probably combined. So
Wait, what? You play
Hey,
more
on
what?
I can pull up my time just because I'm only playing that one game. I guarantee I got more time this week in that one game than you guys got in any game y'all played.
I don't know,
disagree.
man.
Okay,
I don't know about
hit me.
Shar.
What's the time? What's the time? Give me time.
Oh, okay.
How much?
Let me
How much
see. Let me
I wanna
go.
know.
Shar got
I'm
records,
curious.
man.
Let
Shar
me
got receipts.
let me pull it.
I mean,
I don't know if you're beating Shar.
We'll see. We'll see.
How are you charting your time?
You know what? I don't even know if I can chart my time week to week.
Exactly. So you guaranteeing something that you
Snap.
can't even give statistics on.
He's like, hold up, let me bring up my time. Wait, it doesn't exist.
Typical Forte. I guarantee it.
Um,
I can't prove it though.
Oh, okay, whatever.
I
That
can
is-
guarantee that I did this thing that I can't prove to you. But
Okay, you know what? Shout out to the other two voices you hear in our in our immediate
Just
vicinity.
curb stomping this
Yeah,
man.
Kurt,
I
you
love
know,
it.
I feel like I'm on the battlefield and I'm losing 1-on-3, which is fine. It's always typical when Slow-Mo's here. Is something that he has to gang up on me to take me out. But we are joined by the amazing
Sure.
host of the Backlog podcast, two of my favorite people in the entire world, people that I respect a lot on YouTube and on Twitter. Shout out to Char and Erica's for the win. Erica, Char, how have
Hey,
you guys
hey.
been? This your second time here, Erica and Char. Welcome to slightly a little bit underneath the big times. We ain't made it that big yet, so
Oh, okay.
we
Wait, we're big
appreciate you.
time?
You guys are big
We
time. You guys
no,
are
we're
big time.
not.
How many
What?
episodes? How
We
many
are?
episodes? How many episodes of the backlog we got going on right now?
70. What are we at? 74. What do you mean?
74.
We just no 70. Shit. 72. 72.
72.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
19. We're 17 episodes ahead of you, and you guys still got it better than we do. So we appreciate you guys for coming through. What's been going
I
on with you
mean,
guys?
as far as the numbers, we're bi-weekly, so it's
Yeah.
been a minute. We've been
Oh,
doing
yeah,
it
that's
probably
true.
longer. Yeah, much
That's
longer.
true.
I don't know, man. Like you said, I've been here before. This is Char's first time, so Char,
Wow.
you
Hi.
go first.
Oh,
Go
okay.
first.
So for people who don't know me, because I'm never on anybody's podcast other than our own, my name is Shar. My pronouns are they them, and my handle is DrinPixel. You can find me DrinPixel pretty much everywhere. But yeah, I mostly play RPGs. My Twitter has my Twitter bio says that I beat games, and that is not a lie. I beat games. And yeah, I don't know. I'm out here enjoying gaming. That's pretty much it. That's me.
Yeah,
And I
you
guess
hear
I
that,
have a
Forte?
podcast. I
Did
guess
you
I have a
hear that,
podcast.
Forte?
yeah. I did hear that. Well,
Sharp beats games.
she
Mm.
definitely
That's
beats games.
refreshing.
That's one thing that I don't. That's one
That's
thing I don't
refreshing
do.
to hear.
You can only I can only beat Destiny once to twice a year. That's all I can
Hey,
do.
and also if you had the time, if you had the Destiny time, like the numbers to pull up, I was gonna pull up my Final Fantasy 14 time, which is cracked on Steam.
Well, that's ridiculous. I love. Well, you know what? Dang, I wish I would have played my Destiny thing because they do track weekly on Steam.
But
You
I'll
should
just
have
let
been
you
playing it
know
on Steam anyway with the better
I'll just let you know
performance.
it's more than 2,000 hours. So you know,
Well, yeah. What overall?
yeah.
Oh, I got way more than that overall on Destiny.
What?
Way
Bruh.
over that. I'm close to 6,000 hours on
Damn.
D2.
All right.
Are
Well,
you
He's
I'm-
a
close
Destiny
to
crackhead. He's a
I'm
Destiny
over
crackhead.
6,000
bro?
hours. I'm over
You
6,000.
good?
I'm over 6,000 hours on Destiny 2, and I was at just over 3,000 on Destiny 1.
Sheesh.
So
Oh, I see now why you don't play other
don't.
games. Okay.
Well, the
sure,
only
yeah.
other game I play is God of War. Oh, and Halo.
Mm.
God of War. If this rumor that we gonna talk about is true, I'll be playing God of War sometime this year probably. But I do have a question for you,
Mhm.
Char.
You also are one of the 12 people still playing Battlefield 2042. So,
You know what? Shout out to Battlefield 2042. I jumped into a party with Lord Attic and Cognito, and there was and Lemon was in there, and he was playing Battlefield, and I was like, "Why are you playing trash?" And he was like, "I say, are you a neglect for punishment?" I was like, "Do you like hit detection not working in the game?" And he was like, "Bro, they put a patch out 2 weeks ago, and they fixed all that." I was like, "No way." He was talking a really good game. I said, "You know what? I'll install it because I did spend $100 on this game because I bought the biggest version of it."
you never learn because you did this with EA and Anthem.
Sure
you
did.
always
Well, you
buy
did too.
the,
You
the,
did too.
the biggest
You did too. You did too.
edition.
You did too.
I didn't
You
buy
did that with Anthem?
But
Oh,
no,
man.
I didn't buy the
The-
biggest version of Anthem. But I did buy Anthem. And Slow-Mo did too. So don't let Slow-Mo confuse you. He did the same thing that I did.
I didn't buy the $5,000 version of
I didn't buy
Anthem like
it
you
was no
did.
$5,000 version of Anthem. It
I'm
was
exaggerating, but I did
I
buy
know.
it. Yes, I bought Anthem.
Yeah,
Yes, I
we
bought
all
Anthem.
and then we both, and this is the thing that Slow-Mo don't want to tell you. We actually liked Anthem.
I look. I have no problem
Um,
admitting I like the Anthem.
We
I have
really,
zero
really
problem.
liked Anthem. And then all of a
My
sudden we got
issue
to
with
the end of the
Anthem-
game and it was like, yo, there is no end of the game.
My issue with Anthem is there was no content. You can't have a looter and not have content. That's ridiculous. That's not going to work. So I did enjoy the gameplay. The javelins, the flying was perfect. It was probably one of the best aspects of the entire game. I like the flow of combat using your abilities, and actually your gun is more of like a secondary way of doing DPS while your abilities are on cooldown. I enjoyed all that stuff, but like when there's no content, there's no content. Like there's
That's
nothing
true.
for me to do. Like I can't play the game anymore because there's nothing else to do, and I'm out. So
Mm.
that was Anthem's problem. But all I'm saying is that after Anthem, I learned. I was like, EA, I'm good. Not trusting you no more. Next time you come out with a game that I'm interested in, I'm not pre-ordering. I'm not getting the highest version. I'm just gonna, give it a shot. Maybe reactivate my Origin EA Play Pro and check it out on that. I only spent like $15, and then if I like it, I'll keep it. That kind of deal.
Yeah.
But now you,
Yeah.
Forte,
No,
you just keep getting
He
the
don't
highest
learn.
no,
version.
He
He
don't
don't
I.
learn.
learn.
He
Is
No,
what
don't
you're
well,
learn.
saying.
listen. I will
Mhm.
Mm.
listen. I was in love as soon as they announced that 2042 was going to be monitoring combat. I was like, I'm there, and I was going to buy the highest end version of it because that's just the type of person I am. But slow one, you should really be proud of me because remember when they were talking about scoreboards being updates for the game, and then they delayed an update for a scoreboard, and I was like, there's no way that I'm about to keep playing this game and you up here delaying updates that has a pivotal part of a game that should have been there at launch. So I dropped the game back in February, but I have to say, slow-mo, I have to say, because don't you have Battlefield 2042?
Yes, I do.
Dude, I'm trying to tell you right now, you should read that. I think anybody, if you have this game, you owe it to yourself. You owe
Oh
it to
my god.
yourself to
You and
re-download it.
Audible and
You
and
owe
Yeah, I
it
was
to
about to
yourself.
say.
and
I was,
Merc,
I was
y'all
about
out
to
No,
here
say.
listen.
like some evangelists going door to
No,
door.
listen.
Had you tried Battlefield 2042 lately? I'm just like,
Man,
look,
it's
man,
so
I got stuff to
good.
do. I gotta watch paint
Slow-mo.
dry. I gotta
Slow-mo,
Well,
you
like
no, no,
watch
know.
grass
yeah.
grow. I'm
Slow-mo.
out.
You
I was
know
about to
me.
say.
Y'all, but see, this the thing. Slow-mo knows me. This the thing. Y'all should take it from me more than anybody because I don't put Destiny down hardly for anything. And the fact that I was coerced to basically say, yo, jump on Battlefield. You paid for it. It's a game that you always loved. And it's one of the few games that you would put Destiny down for. You owe yourself to re-download it. So I did. And my whole issue, and listen, I never had an issue with the gameplay in general. My issue was once I started shooting at people and I wasn't getting hit registrations, and for some strange reason the game made me feel like I sucked. I was like, wait a minute, I don't suck at video games. I don't suck at shooters. When I aim at something, I hit it
So,
90%
so,
of the
so
time.
basically, what you're saying, Forte, is you had one good match,
No,
and you're
one good
like, I'm
match.
back.
No.
I'm
One good.
back.
No. Not one good match.
I have
I
questions
no
once you're
no
done,
no
Fortune.
slow
I
mo.
got
Not
questions.
just one good match. Slow mo. I
Mhm.
installed. Remember when I told you I got home? I worked till 11 o'clock last night. I played Destiny to about 12, and then I installed this. So I stayed up to install this game, which took about 20 minutes to do because it's a huge game. I said I would play one game. Slow-mo, I ended up playing like 5 games of Conquest, and Conquest by itself takes 30 minutes per game.
Yeah, it
So
could take
I
long.
didn't go to sleep
Whoa.
until 3 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't believe what I was playing. I was like, yo, I can actually shoot something. And shout out to EA because I shouldn't have to be like, oh my God, my gun is actually registering that it's hitting people to feel like I'm enjoying the game again. But that's what was happening because they fixed the issue that I had with the game. And I'm enjoying it now. So after this podcast is over, that's exactly where I'm going. Back over to Battlefield
Hold,
2042.
hold on. I got questions. Hold on.
Yeah, I got
questions.
answers.
I got questions
answers.
too.
Alright.
I got.
I got
Hold on.
answers.
Erica,
Go.
please
Let's
go
go.
first.
Please
Let me,
go.
let me just ask this. Okay, how much experience you have with Battlefield 14?
I played Battlefield 2. That was my very first one on PC. That was
Mhm.
that was Bay. Then I did all the Bad Company games, 1 and 2. Those were base 2.
Okay.
Then I did Battlefield 3, well over 1,000 hours on Xbox 360. Battlefield 4, I maxed out on rank, and then Battlefield,
Damn.
I maxed out on rank on that one, and that was that was terrible because everything in that game was broken. So
Okay, so you a Battlefield fan. I mean,
Oh,
you're
no,
really in
yes.
there in
I
the trenches.
but that's
So
why I was hurt.
I'm even more surprised right now because I don't know, man. Like Slomo was saying, Audible, Merc, these guys, they jump back on it, right? They're like, Erica, go ahead and download it. Let's play. And I went back and it was like okay, but I still feel like it was the same. It was like the more of the same when it launched. So I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe 2042 is just not for me or something, but I didn't
Well,
experience the same feeling.
how did you feel? Did you play Battlefield 4?
Yes.
How did you feel about it?
About 4?
About 4? Because I still
I
think
mean,
4 is still
we
the
know
best
how
one to this day.
I love 4, but we know how it launched.
Oh,
It was
it was
buggy and all
horrible.
that. It was bad. But overall, it was a good experience. Map-wise, gunplay-wise, like I enjoyed it.
Okay.
And 1 I really loved. Battlefield 1 and 3. So like that's
1.
kind of my
1 was
as far as my favorites, but I don't know, man.
I like 1. 1 was cool. I just got tired of the whole setting. The setting is what killed me on that game after a while. I'm all about modern times, so I put a lot of time.
Yeah.
I didn't put as much time in 1 and 5 as I put in like 3, 4, or 3, 4 in this one. But no, I agree with that. I understand. But I mean, it's like I'm a suck. Like I said, I endured a lot of pain in Battlefield 4 playing that game in the state that it was. So it was just, I think for me, it was just super hurtful to think that you would think that, like, dude, this is like your number one, it's like your flagship first person shooter. And it's like, it's the same way I feel like with 343. It's like,
Not
you,
anymore. Apex Legends is their flagship
well, yeah, that's
shooter
true.
now.
That's true. Well,
Apex
yeah,
kinda
it's
hot right
definitely
now,
Well, yeah. Plus, they got microtransactions through the wazoo, and they're buying $40 skins in that game, which I didn't know was a thing. But
Wait,
it
Shar,
actually
you know
is.
what I really realized about these guys?
What's that?
They out here basically keeping dead games alive. This is crazy.
Oh,
What
Forte.
games are dead?
Hey,
You got Forte keeping 2042 on his shoulders. He out here carrying it, and then you got
Very nice.
Slomo playing Rogue Company, keeping
Hey,
that game alive.
Oh,
I get in and out of matches very quickly. They just added ranked mode
You
for
guys, like,
additional ranked mode.
wait, what do you guys do for your back pain for carrying this games? Like, what
Oh
what
man.
do you do? Like,
I
I
will.
need to know.
Well, you know
Like,
what I do. You know what I do.
I have various back braces and icy hot and Bengay to rely on, so I'm good. No, but I have some questions for Forte. Just a couple questions.
Yeah, I
Over
have
the
answers
past
for
week,
you.
sir. So you told a story about how you were playing Destiny and someone convinced you to reinstall this game and play this game, which is fine. That's fine. Well, how many games in the past week were we supposed to play together?
I can't count how many.
Okay, well, I'm gonna help you out. It's at least 2 games.
Okay.
Let's go over to the first one.
is
Right
there-
after, hold on, right after Scumcast last Saturday,
Mhm.
we were all, when I say we were all, a whole group of us were talking about playing Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge. Right? And you said, give me a second, I'm gonna be right on. And we said, cool, okay. And then all of us played, it was 5 of us. We was waiting for Forte, and just Forte never showed up. And I sent you text messages. I called you.
He did send me text
Uh-oh.
messages. I saw him at
And
6
there was
o'clock in the morning.
nothing. And
You
we
saw
just
them?
went on.
At 6 o'clock in the morning.
Ah,
Oh, you were asleep.
Oh yeah.
Right.
man,
Gone.
dead to the world. Dude.
You
Gone.
pulled a Merc. You
Oh,
pulled a
no.
Merc.
I was gone.
So then we were supposed to play Fortnite Zero Build Mode, right?
Okay.
What happened with that, man? What happened with Fortnite?
I haven't played Fortnite in 3 weeks.
So we didn't play Fortnite Zero Build Mode,
Mm.
basically. Abandoned me every time. I don't know why.
I play
expect more.
I play It Takes Two with you. I play Alien Fireteam with you.
Hey, you know what? This reminds me of just Erica and me. You know, why are you
This
copying
is
our
so
shit, man?
us. This
Like,
is so us.
wait, no, but like for one thing, I know this is gonna sound shade. But Erica, as much as she complains about, oh my god, we only play games that Char wants to play. Why do I always play games that Char wants to play and Char never plays all the games that I want to play? Blah blah. I get that, but say what you will about me and Erica playing games together. At least I fucking show up, man.
Okay,
Mm.
is this pick on Forte Day here?
I might
Pretty
be. I'm
much.
sorry.
I mean, this is
You
a
Uh,
kind
whole
of setting
segment.
yourself up
Well,
for
you
it,
do.
honestly.
Wait, this doesn't bother me though.
Char
This
with
is
the
great.
fire right
But you know
there.
what?
Damn.
You
That's all I
know,
got to do.
this is great. This is why when we were on your show a couple weeks ago, I instantly said that, man, this just reminds me of me and Slow Mo every day when we're doing our show.
It's
Because
so great.
this is
It's so
literally
great.
this is literally our dynamic. So I
Yo.
appreciate it. But no, if you haven't, try it. It's really, really cool. If you don't want to do it because you're still mad at EA for all the crazy stuff that they did to people over the course of the last generation, don't play it. But I'm enjoying it. But I do have a question for you, Char. Your
Mhm.
your handle, so your Twitter handle, your gamer tag, Drain
Yes.
Pixel, where did it come from?
So I had the name Drin for like years and years and years. I was like back on like the MyGN forums. Um which is like forever ago now. I'm ancient. Uh and so I think on there I was like Drin Chan or something. And then I used that for pretty much everything, and then I just changed stuff around. It went from Drin Chan to Drin San. So the Drin part I knew I wanted. The pixeled part is because I do pixel art here and there. I don't do it so much anymore, but I do like retro games as well, so like that pixel styled. And then the pixeled part is because if you put something to the power of 2, it becomes squared. So pixel is a square, so I wanted it to be squared, and also it was like kind of like a rebirth, so it was like the second version of me. So me to the second power, but like I don't know, I just changed all that around.
Ooh,
Ooh.
okay.
I didn't know you were into pixel art like that. Did you play Anno Muonium? It came out a little bit earlier this year. It's like a
No.
oh, you should try it out. Actually, I'll put the Steam link to it in
Yeah.
the
I'll
the
check it out.
Discord.
You
Yeah.
guys don't
it's a
know,
pretty cool art.
Shar is an artiste,
Oh
pixel
yeah.
artist.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about that.
So Erica, where did yours
What's
come
up?
from?
Air cuts for the win.
Where did I know where the Erica came from. Where did the cuts for the win come from? Did it just sound good when you said it,
Well,
or what?
Show your cutting people, you know?
I don't know. It works now. It kind of like really is perfect now. But starting out, no, it was a nickname my family gave me, my uncle, Air cuts, because I don't know that he thought it was funny. And this was like when I was in high school or something. And then time goes on, and then I started DJing, which I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I was a DJ
No,
What?
for
did
like,
not know
yeah.
this. Now it
I
makes
was a
sense.
DJ, doing parties, weddings, stuff like that. And it just fit cutting music, air cuts.
Mhm.
So I was DJ air cuts. And then once I got my Xbox and started making gamer tags and things like that, I started as just air cuts. And then I ended up changing it to air cuts for the win because people would say that in game, like, oh, for the win, you throw the last nade, you save the game, you're clutch. It just fit. So yeah, that's where it came from.
Wow. So, see,
Yeah.
that's why I always wanted to ask it. And Slow-Mo has a very interesting reason why his name is Slow Fast.
I think I've heard it before,
Yeah, I think you
but
said
if
it
you
on the
want to say
last
it
show.
again.
Go ahead, Slow-Mo. Why is your name Mr. Backslap?
Yeah, I just wanted a name that was like I was running out of options. I didn't want any numbers in it, and I couldn't think of anything. And I just started just throwing random words together, and stuff just kept on Xbox. It was like taken. I'm like, really? Then I just started just getting dumb. Like, all right, well, shoot you in your left eye, for the win, kind of crap. Just like whatever, right? And it's just like then came on slow mo backslap, and it was just like. It's available. I'm like, really? Oh, of course that's available. Who would say that? Right. So then I just ran with it. It's my name is literally available on every platform
Yeah.
because no one else has thought of it, so it works. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so for me, The funny thing is, I want to say, what was it, 16 years? It was nautical everywhere because I went to school for marine biology, so I was all about water.
Okay.
Nautica was
Okay.
my favorite thing to wear clothing wise. I was in marine biology, so it was like the nautical mile. So literally, when Xbox Live launched, I literally I made sure I was at the store minute one that they opened because I wanted to get home and make sure I got my nautical as my gamer tag. I was super happy to get it on day one, and all of a sudden, it had never been the same because it was back when Xbox used to have your gamer tag was tied to a credit card. I had lost the credit card that I had on file for that name. So when I had to renew my membership, I couldn't remember my password for it at that time. When you were younger, you had passwords for everything. You didn't consolidate at all. So Xbox told me, well, we can't give you a password reset for it because you have to have the credit card on file and tell us what the expiration date and everything was. So I ended up losing my original nautical. So then I changed it and added like extra, like different letters, like an I instead of an L to like make it like what it was with all capital letters. So I was never really married to it anymore, but I kept it for 16 years. And then when I wanted to start doing YouTube, I was like, oh, I kind of want to get a YouTube personality. I kind of wanted to be completely separate from my gamer tag. And then that's when I came up with Gaming Forte. Kind of wish I would have just went with Forte, like that's what everybody just calls me that now. But yeah, my original gamer tag Nautical, which is the same thing on PlayStation, is literally
I
because of
always
water.
maintain you should have just stuck with
A
nautical.
lot of
That should have
people,
been
that's
your
what
name
Luca
across
told me.
everything.
I actually flipped it on Destiny because you get a one-time switch of your name on there across all platforms. I actually switched that back to Nautical, so at least it still lives there. But you aren't the only person. A lot of people was like, man, you should have just named it and kept everything Nautical. And I was like, yeah, but it's always real cool and interesting to see where people's names come from because except for Slow Mo, everybody I know, their name came because of something they did or something they were super proud of or something that was just kind of unique to them.
Mm.
And it kind of tells a story about them. So that's why I really wanted to ask you guys that question because I didn't know any of this stuff about y'all. And now I know that just by asking a question about your gamer tags. And I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting hearing the backstories, people's names and stuff.
Yeah, man, these
'Cause
names go
I
with you for
I
a
always
while.
worry I always wondered that, Forte, because Luca calls you that, nautical.
A lot of Luca, I get
Yeah.
more look, I'll be in a podcast where it just be me. Like at first it used to be like if we was in a like on Scumcast and it's like 4 or 5 people there, and everybody would be like, she'll say nautical, and it's like, is there a nautical on the podcast? But
Like,
then
who's that?
there was a couple of times where it's just me and Luca. Then when she's talking to me, she always says nautical. So everybody just then I start getting DMs like, why did she call you nautical? I said, oh, I said that was my
Yeah.
gamer tag for like 15 years that I changed, and she like literally gets mad at me every time that she sees my name now. But yeah, that's where it came from. So now anybody that knows if Luca is only a few people that do it. Cognito will never call me nautical. He will always call me Forte because he's just used to that now. But Luca, Slow Mo won't even, he'll call me Forte. And then my friend Taz, he always calls me nautical too. Shout out to him in the chat right now. But he's another person that always calls me that because I grew up with him, so we kind of know each other on a
Yeah.
personal level. But yeah, that's always great. But how did you guys get started with your podcast? Because that's the biggest thing that I want to know. What was the story behind the Backlog podcast, and how did it happen over 2 years
Oh
ago?
wow.
I wanna hear
Oh,
Shar tell it because 'cause I've told
oh
it,
my
like, on
god.
streams and stuff, but
I
I wanna hear
mean,
Shar's
I
side.
you jump in if I get anything wrong, but
Okay.
I'll just tell this simple. We didn't work for a thing, but we wrote for a website, like a gaming website, news website. Um, we were both involved and with a whole bunch of other people or whatever. And then we were like trying to like think of ways like instead of just writing, we wanted to like add more to the site, right? You wanted to like diversify your content, right? So I don't remember how it was pitched or whatever, but basically Eric and I got paired together to do a podcast, which we called The Loading Screen, which I still think is a fire name. But
It was.
it was a fire name because I named it. But Anyways,
you named it right.
but yeah, so it was called the loading screen, and it was basically just like, it wasn't like a live podcast like these are now, but it was a sit down where we maybe talk about like something we wanted to talk about for like 30 minutes, put some video to it, and like put it up for the site or whatever. And I think we did maybe not even 20 episodes. I don't think we even got to 20. I think it was like
No, maybe
15, maybe
15 at most.
15 at most. That was like
Yeah.
years ago. Also, we had like had very little contact with each other. Like we both wrote for this website, but like, we had never like really spoken outside of there or whatever. But we realized like really quickly that it was like, hey, this person's cool, right? We enjoyed talking.
Mhm.
And it was definitely something that we obviously still wanted to do, or else our podcast wouldn't actually be here. So like, cut to like the loading screen ended. The website that we're writing for is like gone basically. Like there's like 2 years in between, and all of a sudden Erica hits me up and she's like, hey, so like that podcast. I was like, yeah, what's up? She's like, that podcast though, we should do a
That
podcast.
podcast though.
um She's like, we should
Yeah.
do a podcast. I was like, okay, like we could figure something out. Like, we're kind of living in Japan, so like the time is kind of weird, but like we can figure this out, right? So we figure out the time, we figure out how how we want to do it. We're bi-weekly, which means we don't want to we don't do an episode every week, because that would be, we felt that like that would be too much for us. And also, if we did it bi-weekly, we would have more topics to talk about, or more time to think about what we wanted to talk about, blah blah blah. So yeah, I cannot remember when our first episode was. No, it was 2 years ago now?
Like when we
Must have been.
resurrected as
Yeah,
Backlog?
as the backlog. I
Gosh, I
will
don't know,
check.
2018, 2019
I wanna
ish.
say it was 2019 or the end of 2019, because yeah, like bi-weekly we do very little in a year comparatively to a lot of podcasts, but we're
Yeah,
on
that
episode
might
72, so
yeah, that might make sense because that's when I was on my way out from my
let me
former
see.
podcast.
Oh, sorry,
So,
2018 was actually February 2018 was our first episode
mm,
for the
How
backlog,
did you
which
guys come up with the name, the backlog?
that
that
was
was
all thanks
Shar.
to me.
Shar definitely is better at the naming of things and like
Yeah.
art and things like that. Me, I'll have like a general idea. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this thing.
Mhm.
And then Shar will come in with the details and
Right.
fine tune it, which is awesome. So yeah,
Yeah.
that you summed it up pretty well. I don't think you got anything wrong on
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a great combination of, like you say, like you'll come up with ideas, and then like and like Shar will like fine tune it, and I think
Yeah.
that's a good dynamic when you have two people that are like equally invested in something. Then it tends to work out that way. Like I know me and Forte kind of do that. Like I'll have like an idea, like, hey, here's the idea, right? We do blah 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 blah. I just don't know how to do that. And Forte,
Exactly.
and
That
Forte
is
would
me.
be,
That is
yeah,
so
Mhm.
me.
and Forte would be like,
Yes.
"Oh, I can do that." I'm like, "Seriously? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I'm working on it right now. I started like 5 minutes after you started talking. I'm like, really?
I
And
do be
then next
doing
thing you know,
that.
it's just like
That is
it's
so
there.
me. Yeah, like it's so me and Shar. It's kind
Yeah.
of the
Mhm.
same thing, same dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, Slow-Mo's
Crazy.
mind just be flowing, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's actually a really good idea. Let me start working on that."
You're the
No,
Yeah.
proactive one. Yeah, you're the
yeah,
one that gets it
it
done. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really really cool to not only just see chemistry at its best, because that's the one reason that you guys flourish the way you do. That's why you guys got the community you got. I feel like a lot of people just vibe with just the natural setting of it. It's not no fake setting. It's not trying to bash anybody or anything like that. It's about just friends talking about games. And I think that's the thing that people kind of miss when it comes to like podcasts nowadays. And that's what we enjoy.
Yeah.
That's what we enjoy the most about your guys' show, especially episode
Those are the
69 that
best.
I missed. That I couldn't
Yeah.
get
Slow-mo was
on.
there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slow-Mo was in there living his best life on that
That
episode.
that was that was a funny show. Look. Those are like when you podcast with people that you really honestly cool with. Like it's not like a fake thing. You don't have to like, oh, let me put on the act of pretending like I care about this person as I'm
Mhm.
podcasting with these people. When you can actually tell when it's like that something's not quite right. The uncomfortableness, the tons of like awkward silences of podcasts that don't really have that dynamic versus literally just podcasting with someone that's a friend, and the time flies by. It doesn't matter if you got 3 topics, no topics, too many topics. It's like it's going to be the same dynamic and the same flow regardless. So on the weeks where we like, man, I don't know what we're gonna talk about today, bro, but we're gonna figure it out. It'll be like a 3-hour podcast, and it'll just be us just
Yeah.
really just like discussing things, getting deep into stuff, and just let the conversation go where it needs to go. And I see that with you guys too, because it's like you guys are like on that level. That chemistry is that good where it don't really need to be like we gotta make sure we got this done, and we
Yeah.
gotta make
Super
sure we have like 20,
organized and
20 topics super
yeah.
organized. Not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super important. Like that was my main goal was to just, do a podcast that I want to do and it lined up with what Shar wanted to do. And I always make sure, Shar is on board and okay, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? We just run ideas back and forth and it just works. Yeah, I have a good time. Like I never stress about it with this show, with
Yeah.
Backlog.
Yeah.
Like if we don't have topics or I'm like, Shar knows I'm very late with topics. Or, oh shoot, I didn't get a guest this week. They couldn't make it, whatever. Oh well, we'll just whatever. We go and I never stress about it. I'm like, oh, we got this. Like
Yeah.
Shar's got me. We're gonna make this fun. It's just like hanging out with a friend. So it's like it just works. It's
Well, that's
I just wake up and show up, and I'm on a podcast. Like,
Oh, that's-
it,
That's
man.
kind of what happens. Yeah,
It's-
kind of
yeah.
what happens. Like
Yeah.
I get the guest, I'm kind of in charge of that, and then I do get the topics mostly, but then
I
I'll
get
hit
the
up
work.
Shar like, "Hey, is there anything else you want to talk about? Or
Yeah.
we could take this out. You could put something else in." And then Char's like, we're good," and then shows up, and then we're
Yep.
there, and we're live. So
Yeah.
it's pretty easy going, and I
Right.
don't stress much at all about it. Yeah, it's not uncomfortable. It's not anything like that, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it sounds like Eric is doing like most of the work, right? Like
No.
when she says that, but like the fact that she always like she's saying that it doesn't stress her out means that like it's fine. Like I would be more worried if she was like, hey, can you step it up? And I would, but like the fact that it doesn't stress her out is why I do that. Also, I'm the one that does like all like, I did the logo and I do the thumbnails every time too. So I
Thumbnails.
don't feel like I'm not contributing, which, and then the Patreon and stuff, which like we're both kind of slacking. But like both of us have like stuff that we can do, right? So it's not like one person's like saddled with everything.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
super
nice.
important. I went in that with like that was like one of the main goals. Like I want to make Char feel a part of this thing. I didn't want to be the host and then it's just me and Char and Char's just
Right.
there. Like, no, like Char, that's why I do make Char a little uncomfortable because I'll say to the chat,
Yeah.
you know, that they should love Char. I try and push Char to the front a lot because I feel like that's important, because it is broadcasted on my channel. So naturally you would think, oh, this is Erica's audience. Here's Char that nobody knows kind of thing, right? You would think that. But people really grew to love Char. And then in on the opposite side, Char brought in their own audience that, now they know me because of Char. So
Right.
I feel like to me, it's so important to make it equal and to make it, to make your whole panel feel that they're important. So I went in that as like the main to do for me, and I think it's worked so far.
Yeah, that's really cool because that was kind of the same direction we went with ours. And I see Slow-Mo in there taking credit for my ideas about why this show flips back and forth between channels.
Excuse
Take
me?
it-
That
take-
was
What?
definitely
take it.
my
No,
idea.
I would tell you. You want to know how I know it was my idea? You want to know why it was my idea, Slow-Mo? Well, let me tell
What
you
is that?
exactly because this is the conversation we had when we were talking about this. I was like, where are we going to put this? You was like, well, we could. You was like, well, I don't know. And I was like, well, we could flip it because I'm already at 3,000 subs and I want you to hurry up and get to your 1,000 so you can get partnered. And I said it would be easier to do that if we flip the show between both channels. And that's how we made the decision to get you to 1,000
Mhm.
subs faster.
Okay, all right. I will concede it was your idea. Or was it also your idea to misspell everything
No,
when
no,
you were
that was just
hosting?
a byproduct of the fact that I'm just Forte every once in a while, and half the time so the reason this stuff happens, like some of the stuff like falls through the cracks, like a S at the end of motorsport instead of motorsport, it's spelled motorsports, is because I literally leave work and Slomo does an amazing job of he kills me for it every show, but he knows it's all in good fun because I'll literally leave work on a Thursday on the week that is my show, my channel, my time to do it, and go home and do everything in like an hour and a half because I leave work at like 6:30. I'm home by 7. I got to get everything done before 8:30. And so some stuff falls through the cracks. Now, 90% of the time, like I remember one show, someone was like, "What? There is no issues with any of the stuff." I was like, "That's because I didn't have to work today." So that's the kind of dynamic, but it's all in fun, man. We push each other, and it's always a great thing when that actually happens. But um,
Yeah.
we definitely need. Okay, so everybody, we don't want people to think that this is a kumbaya podcast where we just talk about ourselves and stuff. We need to talk about some stuff that's actually
This
happening
is
in the
all
world.
about us
It's all
on
about
the
it, even though
podcast.
it's a show about people that podcast, but it's still about the
Yeah.
people listening. So slow mo, Forza Motorsport, graphics, frame rates, and ray tracing. Oh my! Digital Foundry put out a video, had the whole internet up in an uproar. Now we don't have to really talk about how it affects Forza in general, but I do want to get into a conversation with you guys about why is this happening consistently across all games when it comes to just the presentation of these games, where these games are being shown or being played or developed on. But then the platform holders come out and says, "Oh, this is Xbox, Series X gameplay, but it's actually on the dev kit that's being run on a high-end PC for features that we're
Mhm.
not going to get on a system that we personally own." That's kind of the conversation I want to have around this. Slow-mo, so why don't you go ahead and lead us in everything that's going on with that?
Boy, all right. Look, very early in this podcast, I'm about to have Xbox people mad at me. Okay, so look,
Oh man, they
here
can't
we
live.
go. So
Is Erodimus
let,
here?
let's. He's lurking.
Because Erodimus
He's
gonna
ready.
be he ready.
He's ready to queue up a super chat, questioning me, which is fine. He is welcome to do so. I know I'm not wrong though when I say this. Um, 4K 60 with ray tracing is a lie. There is no way in the world Xbox Series X is giving you 4K resolution with 60 frames per second and ray tracing enabled. It's not happening. Okay? It the only way that happens, period, is going to be on PC with a minimum of like a RTX 3080 Ti with like a mix of like high to mid settings at native 4K, 60 frames per second with ray tracing. And I know the first thing people say is, well, hey, it's not really 4K. They're doing some kind of dynamic checkerboard slash upscaling. They call it what it is. Because when you say 4K, then people think that's 4K. Like when you buy your OLED and it's a 4K TV, it's not really a 1440p panel. It's a 4K panel. Like they don't lie to you when you purchase your hardware to say, well, like I know you want it. Oh, actually, let me not say that because they do lie about HDR. They do give you the people the fake HDR, but regardless of that, like that's still not what I like to see. I want people to not get those reservations when they see something and they think this is what I'm going to play when it comes out, and then it comes out and it's not what they thought. And that's kind of like the issue that I kind of have with this. I understand that Turn 10 is working on this is like off of Forza Engine 2.0. It's got some advancements. It's going to look better than Forza Horizon 5. I get that completely, but it's just that like the hardware is still the hardware. Xbox Series X is only equivalent of like a 2070 Super. Like a 2070 Super isn't doing 4K 60 with ray tracing on. It's not. And your console is going to be no different. There's no magic under the hood. The tools can't save you. Whatever, like catchphrases and ideas and that people come up with, like it's not going to change anything. And I just really kind of wish that just be a little bit more honest. It- if you if people are coming away from your presentation with the implication that this is Xbox Series X gameplay, then you failed in your marketing and how you presented the game because you gave people a false impression. And we got to do our best to kind of like minimize that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, that they straight up lying, aren't they? They're just like they're just at that point they're just straight up lying, unless like you have the hardware to supplement it. But like I don't know. I honestly personally don't really care about this, but because I don't play in 4K, and I only recently like just got not recently I guess, but like in the last year I got a new computer. So like, and I play retro games, man. 30 frames don't bug me. But
Hey, Shar, hold on one second. I think okay, Forte. Can you say something real quick? Because there's people are saying there's something wrong with the audio. They're saying they could hear
Uh-oh.
Shar,
oh,
but then like I guess they couldn't hear when you were asking a question.
gotcha.
That's weird.
Weird.
Do you see your levels going up
Yeah, they
when you
are.
speak?
I just muted and unmuted. So,
Mm, mm,
okay,
mm.
yeah. Can they hear me now?
I think so.
Okay, if they can
They
hear me,
hear me, but
Okay, we're
we're
good.
waiting to confirm about Forte though.
Hustle so you can hear me, which makes sense. I think all of us are probably on the same
you guys
audio
are on the
source,
same source, but yeah,
but
for some
Forte's on
reason,
a
Yeah,
separate
you're
one.
on your mic.
Mm,
it looks like
Well,
well,
yeah.
While Forte gets that figured
okay.
out,
You're back. You're back.
I'll
okay,
reiterate
they
the
hear him.
question. To hear him?
Okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I had to
Yeah.
unmute and mute again for some reason. For some reason, OBS was like, don't want your mic to work.
Yep.
Good OBS.
Guys,
Uh,
he was just asking me about my opinion. That's literally it. That's the
yeah.
question. About all of this. But yeah, uh, yeah, like I said, I don't really like. I obviously I have an issue with the fact that like if they say one thing and it's something else, then that's just not great. You need that transparency, which we're not getting a lot of. I feel like in gaming, there's a lot of like questionable practices going on now, which is not great. And I wish that they weren't happening, but they are. So this is just one thing that like, why would you lie about this, man? Is it embarrassing? Like, is that why they're doing it? Is it embarrassing to like to be like, oh guys, it's in 4K, and we have to say it's in 4K because it's not actually nobody. Don't tell them it's not
The
4K.
buzzwords, they got to keep it
Yeah,
going, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I kind of feel like it's like leadership has a certain perspective that they want the gamer to feel about their games. You
yeah,
always see a lot of Xbox games always pushing towards 4K. If they could do native 4K, they do, which to the detriment of like performance and frame rates and stuff like that. And I kind of feel like that's like an Xbox thing. So
it's definitely a
they,
point of pride, right? Like
yeah,
if they don't
yeah.
say it now, then they're like disingenuous, but also like all the Xbox people or whoever, it doesn't matter what company it is, but like if they lie about the specs or whatever, they're like um they're just hyping themselves up basically,
It's
right?
the reputation they had to
Yeah.
do because what was it like
Because
strongest console and when it was first
Hmm.
launching and everything and
These monsters.
it's yeah, it eats monsters for
It's monsters.
breakfast and all this stuff.
It's monsters eat
So
monsters.
yeah, they got to keep it up with hey, HDR,
Because
4K and this
if
and
they
that
don't,
and
can you imagine if they didn't say that? If they didn't
ray
say that it was
tracing.
in 4K, the people would be mad, and also it would just to them it would probably feel like a setback, right? Like they're not delivering on any promises they probably made about all our games are going to be in 4K here on or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, just
it's
to,
Oh
just
man,
unfortunate.
I remember them saying that last generation when the Xbox One X was coming out,
Yeah, they
and
probably
they
did say
said,
that.
yeah, they said all their first party games would be in 4K, and I'm like,
Mhm.
That's
They
not
can't go
like,
back on that now, though, right?
yeah, like yeah,
So
like it's pigeonholing your developers to kind of like shoot for a certain plateau that not necessarily isn't always the best. I don't think anybody really cares if Sea of Thieves is 4K or not on the Xbox
no,
console. Like
I don't
like
think so.
it's Sea of
No.
Thieves. Like it being 4K means nothing to
that
the
water look good
overall
though, bro.
experience. Yeah, the water will look good
The
at
That,
water.
1440p as
The
well.
water!
Like
that
the
water,
water,
Get rid of
man.
the
You
water!
can drink
I
that.
Eric, the
You can
know.
drink
I
that
always make
water.
a big deal about the water. I always do.
Man, that water is freaking amazing.
water!
Like,
Dude,
let's be for real.
oh my god.
Let's be for real. When we all jumped into Sea of Thieves, as boring as that game was when we first played it, first thing we was like, "Yo, this water looks so nice."
but
I
but
hope
but
people know where that came from, by the way. Sorry to
yeah,
cut you off.
oh no,
Go ahead.
but I don't think anyone was like, man, this looks amazing in 4K. I don't think anyone
Mm,
cared about that. I think some
no,
games, especially if it's not like a game that's uh if its art direction isn't well, if it has a very unique art
I can
direction, I don't think 4K is ever really
I can
necessary. I
actually
actually
back
don't
you on
even
that.
4K is necessary uh at all. Like I PC, I got a high end PC. I game at 1440p primarily. And all my games look amazing.
Elmo botting, or is it just me?
Uh-oh.
Oh, you
I hope
botting?
not.
He ain't botting for he. I don't hear
nope,
him
not for
botting.
me.
Maybe it's just me. Okay,
All
continue.
right. Sorry about that. Yeah,
I like continue.
I just don't think and for people who may not understand why I have a big deal about this, it's about the whole race racing thing, which is fine. Like race racing is awesome in games, but it also is a very expensive and it has a significant hit on performance. So ray tracing, I'm fine with having ray tracing on if I can get a minimum 60 frames per second. But if I can't do that, I turn it off because it's not worth the hit to performance. And it's that implication that this game is going to have ray tracing, which I do believe is going to have ray tracing. And there are people out here like it's not really going to have real ray tracing. And I'm just like, no, it's going to have ray tracing. I think they're going to actually have ray tracing in the game. It's just that, but at what cost?
Right.
Is that ray tracing going to be there? And that cost should not be performance. Like
Yeah.
if they have a mode that's going to be like it's with ray tracing 30 frames per second, throw that in the garbage. Who wants to play a racer at 30 frames per second? Like
Obviously.
Oh,
I
right.
I don't even play racers like that. I play Forza Horizon when it first comes out for 2 weeks. Then I uninstall it and I play the next Forza Horizon 2 years later.
We're
But I
the
ain't
Zero fans in chat. Show me your hands.
Show me your hands. Let's go.
but there's no way I'm playing a racer at 30 frames per second. That's crazy. Like not a racer. Like I feel like that's like the last game that should ever
There's like
be.
certain genres that just
Mhm.
it's not gonna work.
Right,
Yeah.
You know,
right. Yeah.
platformers, racing,
What are you talking about, platformer?
shooters, like you
Did you
feel
play
it.
Castlevania?
Ooh, Castlevania. Ooh, that's the old school stuff right there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I'm still stuck in the past or whatever. But
It's
again,
nothing
I'm
wrong.
just like
Nothing wrong
30
with that.
frames is. I'll take 30 frames, man.
Nah,
I'm lucky to
see,
get 30 frames.
life, my life,
But I
was
get it.
I had a transformative life once I bought my PC for the first time, and I
His
and I
ads open.
and
It changes you.
yeah, I was like,
It
"Yo,
does.
what's this?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Listen, the best thing they ever did." I probably would have. The funny thing is, if Bungie would have never put Destiny on PC, I probably would have left Destiny a long time ago because I was getting so tired of 30 frames per second. But then when they put it on PC, I was like, "Oh, I'll just play over here." And then I came
Yeah.
back when the new systems came out and they had 60 frames per second. But it changes you. Like that was the number one thing I always told people. I was like, "Listen, next generation for you as a console gamer is 60 frames per second. That's your next generation. That's the bar for you." Because I remember all these conversations like Shar was just saying, 30 frames per second is good for me. But that makes sense for you because you play a lot of retro games. I can understand that. But these people out here that's playing these newer
Yeah.
games and stuff like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, and them saying, "Oh, 30 frames per second is great." I say, "Oh, you haven't played games yet." Because you
Mhm.
missing out on a lot if you play at 30 frames per second in these newer
Oh, for
type
sure.
experiences and stuff. Erica, do you have anything you want to add to the conversation around this? Anything else?
I mean, I kind of said what I always think is just, yeah, I mean, these reputations with these buzzwords, and once they say it, they feel like they gotta uphold that thing, whatever it is, the ray tracing or the 4K. And to me, I mean, I feel like this has happened so many times before. We'd have E3 or whatever, they'd be showing off a game, and then it turns out it's the PC running it or something,
Mhm.
and then they don't say anything, and then they find out later, and it's this whole thing of like, oh, they're lying, and they're
Yeah.
not showing, how it's really running on the console. So this is like nothing new. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's
Remember,
Forza. I'm not the
yeah,
biggest
remember
fan.
remember when
But yeah.
Xbox did the reveal for Anthem at their show and they said it was running on an Xbox One X, and then
I think I
like
remember
Oh
then
my
that,
two
yeah.
god.
then a couple of days after the show, it came to light that it was actually running on a high end PC, and everybody was like, "You said it was
Yeah.
running on an Xbox," and we were all on these different shows saying like, "Bro." They
That
always
was
say this
low.
stuff. We said, bro, they always say this stuff's running on Xbox. I said, like it's like I always feel like Xbox, and not just Xbox, all of these companies do it. They show you this amazing trailer that's a CGI. Let's go back and look at State of Decay 3. They show this trailer. I was like, this
Mhm.
game's not gonna look like this, y'all. So y'all might as well not even get this visual out of your head. This ain't what this game's gonna look like. And the same thing happened with Redfall last year when they showed it. They showed this stylized, CGI trailer with the characters. I knew what they were going for. They were trying to like give you an understanding of what the combat would look like, what the character dynamic would look like, with the weapons and the abilities and stuff. But for people that thought that game was going to look like that, I was like, listen, they out here pulling wolves over people's eyes, and this is something that you guys had to do. And to go off your point, Slow Mo, about games from like earlier in 360, you really don't. I mean, is it good to have 1440p 4K? Absolutely. But go back to look at like games like Rise. Rise was 720p on the original Xbox One, and
Yeah,
that game
it still
still
looks
looks
amazing right
good.
now.
That's a
Yeah,
pretty game.
That's a
Yeah.
it's a
pretty
very pretty
lit.
game.
Now go play it in 4K on PC, and, and you'll be like, "Yo,
Oof.
this game really looks good." But yeah,
Well,
on the original Xbox,
the
it looks
PC
good.
version of that game is almost unplayable.
Oh,
I
it
know for a
is.
fact. Yeah, it's almost unplayable.
Wait, which version?
The PC version of Rise, Son of
Right.
Rome.
Really?
Yeah,
I played
yeah.
it on PC. I thought it was nice. Thing looked
Really?
nice. Yeah.
I had so many like stuttering issues, and the frame rate
Uh,
was all over the place. This was like maybe last year. I did you play it on the Steam version?
yeah, I think so.
Interesting. That's the
Pretty sure. I could
I
check to
had
be sure.
So I'm about to
I
go
had
and
all kinds of
re-download it
issues.
now.
I think I got it like super cheap or something.
Yeah, I
Um,
when I got it, it was like $3 something like that. I was like, sure, why not?
yeah, it's in my Steam. Yeah, I played
Mhm.
it in 2019.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Wait,
It
Ramon.
you
was
played the game?
gorgeous. I thought it was gorgeous. It was a good game. It's
Yeah,
decent.
absolutely gorgeous game. But yeah, it's look, I've always said this about like so I said this about Elden Ring because like I appreciate From Software like stepping it up on the visual level compared to their previous games, but like it's still got that engine's a little dated when it comes to keeping up with modern like visuals for more modern games. But I still acknowledge that like the assets and some of the art in the game is just beautiful. Like you look at some of the armor, the weapons,
Yeah,
the environments. Like you go up to the Raya Lucaria Academy, and just like your walk when you first walk in, it reminded me of something like out of a haunted house kind of deal. You know, when you first
Mhm.
walk up to Stormvale Castle, like the actual art is beautiful, and I think that's when you have games where you don't really need to have 4K resolution. You don't need to have all the bells and whistles, everything
Yeah.
running in ultra settings. It's just as long as like you got like solid artists that can actually allow your game to look unique and different from other games. Like that's worth so much more because those kind of games will stand the test of time. And it'll be a decade later, and someone will pick it up and be like, "Oh man, this still looks really good." And it's not like, "Ooh, that aged badly."
Right.
Like we
Some
see
don't
the
age
games,
well. Yeah.
yeah, we see some games that don't age well, and it's usually because they did the tried and true. I want to go for hyper realism for
Yeah.
Yeah.
this year, and then like in 10 years later, that's no longer hyper realistic.
Yeah. Hustle.
Right.
Got Hustle to Motivate. He says 1440p ray tracing 60 frames per second. He said that's pretty much the bottom for him. Then we had Sir Taz. Shout out to Sir Taz. He says if Forza is running 1080p 60 frames per second with ray tracing, I'm turning ray tracing off, not playing anything at 1080p.
Man has standards, you
Yes,
know?
and then
Mhm.
Ramon Terrell says, "Look at Return on 1080p upscaling, looks amazing." And that's the thing. I remember when they pixel peeped Returnal at Digital Foundry, they said this thing is running at 1080p, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, they said it's running at 4K," and I'm like, "But the game looks amazing. Does it
Literally
matter?"
nobody knew it was running at 1080p
Nobody
until
knew.
Digital Foundry said it, and then everyone had to talk about it. I'm like, none of y'all thought that was 1080p when you played the game. So what's the big
Yeah,
deal?
everybody, all they saw was the Sony said it runs at 4K. They did say it was upscaled. They said upscaled to 4K, but everybody thought it was like 800p or something like that, or 1440p. They pixel peeped the heck out. They said, no, these assets are 1080p. And it was literally a conversation on 16 different podcasts that day. And I was like, oh my God. It was
You
it
guys remember oh, sorry to cut you off,
no,
but
go ahead. You good.
like last gen, do you remember all those weird resolutions like 790 and like all these
790p,
all these
960p.
Yeah.
I just remember that being such a topic, like, oh, this game, it would be promised to be a certain, resolution, and then it wouldn't be at
You,
launch or whatever. And that was just such a
you
thing. Like that was
You
such
know
a
why though? That's because Shuhei.
outrage.
That's because you know why? Because that's because Shuhei came out and said 1080p make you a better gamer. so
Yeah, that's true.
everybody started paying attention. Like shout out, Shuhei. I think single handedly launched Digital Foundry's career. Because that's literally when Digital Foundry started taking off, because they started doing all the console comparisons between all the games, and they was like, "Oh, Call of Duty runs at a solid 1080p on PlayStation, but on Xbox, 900p."
Yeah, that 900p was a big one.
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Which
just
is funny
crazy.
because we were just talking
Everywhere.
about how Rise Son of Rome still looks good
Yep.
in 2022, and that game was 900p on Xbox.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember people clowning on it for that. Like that
Yeah.
was a big deal. Yeah.
Oh well, we killed that one,
Good
man.
times.
Just seems like everybody, we're just tired of that narrative and stuff. Just tell us what the games are, or I mean, you can't get away from people pixel peeping the games. Just let people know what they're buying out front, and you won't have these issues going forward. Slow mo. Oh my god, I don't know. I don't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah, what's that? What's
I
that?
don't
What
believe
is
I'm
it? What is
okay.
it?
God of War Ragnarok. The snitch almost got Forte on the run. Listen.
Almost.
On the run?
Almost on the run. The only reason I say almost slow-mo, because I had to think about this. I'm a very emotional creature. Very, very emotional person. So when I saw the tweet, when you tweeted it, I instantly said, "Oh man, I guess this is it. It's coming. What month in 2022 is coming out?" And then I had to sit there and sleep on it. And I was like, you know what? He didn't confirm that God of War is coming this year. He just confirmed pretty much in a tweet by a winking God of War saying that they're going to talk about it sometime soon. Now that doesn't mean
Bruh.
that Sony's going to come out and announce that it's coming in 2022.
Yes, they are.
No, it
Why would
doesn't.
they?
Listen.
Dude, it's coming out this year.
Listen. All right.
It's coming out this year.
Okay.
It needs you
Forte,
to.
you don't think it's coming out?
No, I don't think
How?
so. I don't think
Why?
so. Okay, so
Why though?
Explain.
so this is all predicated on Sony's behavior up into this generation. Now, if you want to argue the fact that this isn't the same Sony. That's like the wild card in this scenario, because this isn't the Andrew House, it isn't the Jack Tretton or Sean Layton Sony anymore. This is, Mr. Jim Ryan, who is the financial guru of PlayStation, and he's all about making money. So if you want to argue that fact, absolutely. But up until this point, there has been not one PlayStation first party exclusive that has released on a PlayStation platform between the months of October and December of any year, with the exception of a console launch. Because console launches, of course, they're going to have games that launch with a console. But just to have natively a first-party title released between October and December has never happened for PlayStation.
Or say this means nothing.
No, it does. It means a lot, because because
at one
listen,
point they didn't put games on PC. Now they put games on PC.
Did you just hear what I said? I said if you want to argue the fact that this is a different Sony, absolutely. It
is a different Sony.
But until Sony comes out and announces, listen, the snitch is the closest that you're gonna get to me being on the fence, because I am a little worried about this prediction.
So you're saying for the first time the snitch is wrong?
No, I'm not saying he's wrong. He didn't, but that's the thing though. Did the snitch say that it's coming this year, or did he just put up a picture basically just hinting at that we're gonna get God of War information soon? Which one was it, Slow-Mo? Be honest with yourself.
Mhm.
Which one was it? He didn't say,
He likes to play games.
He does, but guess what he did?
It's a puzzle.
It is.
It's a riddle.
Yeah, which is cool. I like how he does that. He doesn't outright tell it. Like his first tweet was the entire itinerary for the state of play, the last state of play, which was literally outright telling you. And then, but he's kind of evolved his leaks now to allowing it to be a bit of a game, a puzzle. What
he could have did if he would have just. I'll tell you.
The
one thing he could have said, Slow-Mo, other than that, if he wanted to 100% get me on the fence to the point where I would have bent the knee to everybody in this chat about it, he didn't even have to tweet a picture or a GIF. All he had to do was tweet "boy 2022" and it would have been over. If he would have tweeted "boy 2022," I would have been done.
Two on the nose. That's two on the nose.
I mean, it's already avert the fact that
he's allowed to say that.
Oh, he ain't allowed to say a lot of things that he's already saying, probably. But listen, if he would have said that, that's like literally only thing I can see in my mind that is 100% confirmation that it's coming this year. Because what he tweeted is basically just saying that be on the lookout for God of War news in the next coming weeks. And now you're starting to see all the rumors of June 30th being the rumored event day that they're going to talk about it, which is a little worrisome for me. And let's get this free. Let me get this.
A little worrisome.
It is a little worrisome. You know what it is? Because
let me go down the list of everything that suggests this game is coming out this year.
A lot of stuff.
We have a developer
yes.
saying it's coming out this year.
Yes.
We have them rating the game in Korea.
Yes.
Game's already rated in other countries.
That's true.
We have the snitch, the only accurate insider who's never been wrong on anything, saying, or at least saying that we're getting God of War information. All 13 tweets are 100% accurate. He's 13 for 13.
That's true.
No one else can say that.
It's true.
Usually at this point, other insiders who really do have sources end up being wrong on something. Typically, though, I think the reason why the snitch is never wrong is that the stuff that he leaks is stuff that's imminently about to be said. So there's almost no chance for it to change at that point in time. Now, all that said, they had a trailer for accessibility options.
They did.
Who in their right mind gonna send a trailer for accessibility options when the game not coming out anytime soon?
For a game that they're gonna be announcing in 2023.
That makes no sense, man. That makes zero sense.
Listen,
the game's done, man. The game is already finished.
Listen, Char,
it's coming out November 2022.
I think it is coming out in November now, because I think it was up in the air until everything that was supposed to come out in November got vacated out in November. So it's literally like, this is the only thing that
they did not move this game and they were not afraid of Starfield.
I'm not saying they
I
were. No.
guarantee you
I'm not
that.
saying they're afraid of Starfield. I think once they found out that Call of Duty was coming out in October and not November, and then the exit of Starfield out of that month, literally the whole month is open. There is nothing in November now. Normally, Call of Duty houses the first half of November, like anywhere in those first 2 to 3 weeks. And then Starfield would have fell in there. But since Call of Duty's coming out in the middle of October, I think that's the main reason why they was like, you know what? They probably were looking to get it out probably in December. If I'm not saying they were going to put it in 2023 if they had 2022 aspirations for the game, but I do think they're bringing it out probably earlier just due to the fact that nothing else is in November. Now, they're literally going to be unimpeded for the whole month of November if they decide to do it. And I hope they do it. I mean, just because I want to play the game. It's just that I don't want my prediction to be wrong because I would
And that's
hate
the
that.
only reason why you're on the other side of the argument.
Do you
You
have,
don't
like-
want to be wrong.
Yes.
You have like money on it or anything like that?
No,
Or
no. Well,
it's
I
just
tried.
pride,
Listen,
just
no.
a pride thing?
I tried to bet him. I
declined.
tried to bet him
No,
before all
I tried
this.
to bet you.
No. Let's be for no.
And you said
Don't
no.
let Slow-Mo lie to you here. Slow-Mo's lying to you now because I was literally trying to bet Slow-Mo.
Ask the chat.
Chat. Was I not trying to bet Slow-Mo about this almost 9 months ago? I was telling Slow-Mo almost late last year. I was like, Slow-Mo, the game's not coming out in 2023.
What about 2 months ago?
Well, Slow-Mo, you waited until accessibility options and stuff got mentioned and they started dropping trailers and stuff for the game. I'm like, well, I would be a fool to not, take those things as kind of an accountable way of saying that the game could come out this year. I was willing to tell you it was coming in 2023 and bet you 9 months ago with no information. You wanted to have information on your side so you could be like, oh, I got him. I can bet him now. I was like, no, be a man of your convictions.
It's coming out this year. Based upon that sentence you just said. You believe it's coming out this year.
I'm scared that it's gonna come out this year, but I'm gonna love
You're
it
scared.
I'm scared because guess what? I'm legit. Listen, I'm legit scared because I know what this is gonna mean. Because Slow-Mo ain't gonna never let. Because this is of
You're gonna
all
let you have it?
because
Is that
literally
why?
of all the things that me and Slow-Mo talked about. This is the one thing that I hitched my wagon to, and he hitched his wagon
Erica,
to.
the only reason why I didn't bet him when he tried to bet me before is that I was tired of taking Forte's money.
He took it one time. He took my money
Galvin.
one time. He took it one time. One time.
Taking your money.
You want to go easy on him?
No, he took it one
we
time.
got another bet going on who beats the most games this year that I'm guaranteed to
You
win.
guys talked about that. Yeah.
That's
Hey,
true.
It's just like I'm tired
What number
of
you up
taking
to
your
now?
money, bro. 13.
13? Okay, you ain't that
Damn.
far ahead.
Have you ever beat 13 games in 1 year, Forte?
Oh yeah, before Destiny, absolutely.
Before Destiny.
Before Destiny,
so it's not
absolutely.
happening, basically. It's
Well,
not
put it this way:
Again.
before
That
Destiny,
game.
put it this way: before Destiny, I had almost 100,000 gamer score before Destiny, and now I'm at 100,000 because of Destiny. Just let you know
Yeesh.
how much my gaming score dropped
You a
dramatically.
true addict.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Not gonna
Insane.
lie, I love the game. It's nothing better in gunplay than that. But
okay, that's cap. We gonna move on though, because we ain't trying to make this the
Nope.
Destiny show.
yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. But listen, my whole thing. Okay, so Shar, God of War. So you 2022, you on board? It's coming out this year. What month you think it's gonna come out?
I said it. I think it'll be November. So, but like, I also wouldn't be surprised if it's 2023 or early 2023, like the first quarter or whatever. But it's gotta be right. Like, it's pretty much like finished, isn't it? Because they're just running it off the engine that they already have. They already have the character models. They just like
All
needed
the
to like
assets.
upscale it. Yeah, they have all the assets and everything. Maybe they add like a weapon or two. So that's add additional like, animation and stuff, and then story, voice acting. I'm not gonna say it's an easy job that they've done, but yeah, 2022 seems logical.
Logical. I like how you said logical. But let me ask you this. Is there any reason that you see this game not coming in 2022? What would the reason for 2023 be?
That they just over crunched their people and like something wasn't working out in like the the finalization process or something, and like they would have to like take an extra month to like fix whatever it
Yeah,
is.
that's
That's pretty much
possible.
it.
because I truly believe if the game does not come out in November, they're not releasing it in December. It's just going to
No,
be in
I don't
Jan.
think it'll come in December.
It's not coming. So you either going to have, what is it, September, October, and November. That's the window. Anything after that is going to be next year.
Mm.
Well, the smart play would probably be actually late November, early December to get it into the qualifications for the gaming awards, right?
well, I think the
It would have
qualifications
to be early
it
November.
had to
Or
be
early
early
November.
because
Yeah.
because they kind of screwed Forza Horizon for that, and that came out on November 7th last year.
Oh yeah. So then early November would probably be the best time for
The
them.
latest, yeah.
Yeah, it had to be before that date because I think a lot of people remember it's like, well, you said Forza couldn't be in Game of the Year conversation because it came out too late. So, I mean, that's if
Yeah, that was a
Sony.
big drama.
Yeah, and
Remember
that's
that?
if Sony really cares about that. Honestly, I mean, let's be for real. Elden Ring is going to run away with that award anyways. At
I
this
agree
point,
with that.
Mm,
I
yeah.
I think it's going to be only it's going to be like 2018, where 2018 was between.
Oh.
Oh, okay, we got him back. I think that's the way it's going to work out this year. It's going to be
Yeah.
between God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring, but I think this
Mhm.
time Elden Ring is going to win the majority of the awards. You know how there's like
Yeah.
a dozen award shows, but people really only care about Jeff Keighley's video game awards. Like I think Elden Ring wins that, and then you'll get God of War winning a couple here and there, and the ponies would be like, "Hey, look, we won 3 here," like whatever. People be
The
black,
ponies.
be bragging about something like that. But it's really just going to be just between those two.
What's up? Uh, ge Listen, the snitch is our almighty leader. He has not been wrong. Before but the yeah.
That's not
Well,
his
it
they
This
dibs
in the
though.
snitch we trust.
in the snitch we trust, exactly, but it had numbers on it, right? And
Mhm.
people put things together, it's kind of like a riddle
Mhm.
or whatever. They did the binary conversion or
Oh
something like
shit.
that with the
Yeah,
numbers.
it comes out to 30.
It comes out to 30, so some people are thinking, "Oh, state of play the 30th of this month," which is a
Mhm.
Thursday, next Thursday. And they could announce that on Monday. They usually do like the week, of. So if we wake up Monday and nothing's been announced, then I'll have to retract and think, okay, what now? What does it mean? What do these numbers mean? Because they clearly mean something. He put numbers in the GIF or whatever.
I mean, it could be 30 days from whenever he like posted that too.
Something with 30. Yeah. And then people thought, well, maybe it's just 1111 because it was like four ones and then a zero.
Yeah.
But the zero like throws it off. I don't know what that means.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like, and then let's not forget too, Cory Barlog's been tweeting as well. He's been putting out these like dot 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 like Morse code type stuff, and then he putting pictures of Kratos and saying just saying like I don't know, subtle hints, I guess, of
Right.
something, but he doesn't say it. So it's kind of frustrating, reading his stuff. I was kind of like, oh man, just say it. But then when the snitch said something, I was like, oh, okay, something going on because I trust the snitch. That's the guy right there. So I think, well, I was just gonna say, I'm thinking now because before all this, I was thinking 2023. But now that this has happened, yeah, but now I'm like, maybe it is this year. Maybe it is November. It makes sense. So,
Oh my god.
I think Ramon is referring to the theory that the snitch actually works for YouTube, and that he is
oh,
and the YouTube employee that can see when like these YouTube accounts, like like PlayStation's YouTube account, may have a scheduled
Like a
Mm,
premiere
yeah,
or something.
yeah, yeah, because
gotcha.
he seems to get a lot of information immediately, like before like almost not always imminent, but like when he first revealed the state of play itinerary, he did it the morning of the state of play. So of course, all this stuff is pre-recorded. If they uploaded the video to the channel and he works for YouTube, he could
Yeah,
watch the video because it's
yeah,
private until it's time, it's scheduled time, and he could see the entire order of everything and then tweet that out. Other information like Xbox Showcase, he revealed when Silk Song was going to be in Game Pass day and date. He revealed a bunch of other stuff. He revealed the Persona 3, 4, and 5 going to Xbox. And this was stuff that like when he revealed it, it was like hours before the showcase began. So if he does work for like that will kind of like work that he works for YouTube. And so he's able to see private videos before they go live, and that's how he gets his information, which I mean, regardless, it's still accurate that he's getting his stuff, but it also would make sense because most insiders don't have sources for everybody. Like they don't
Mm.
have sources for like an insider for Xbox doesn't necessarily mean they got like the same amount of sources for PlayStation or Nintendo. They but this guy seems to have like the goods on everyone. And
Right.
so that will see it will make sense that he just basically is someone that's on the inside of a platform and he's having some fun here. So
Yeah. Shout out
Mm.
to BK Board with the $5 super chat. Respect to the homies. Really appreciate you, bro. Thanks for dropping by, and always super chats
so
are always
BK,
welcome.
Okay.
So
light skin nation stand up.
light
All right.
skin nation stand. Y'all gotta listen, man. Light skinned people gotta hate, they gotta support each other.
Listen, that man just found the greatness that is Persona 5. He is hooked
Oh
Oh,
no.
really?
and streaming it. Yeah.
He
Oh,
went.
Wow.
I got. It's like BK streams at the most awkwardest times. Like it'll be
He
like
does.
1:30 in the morning. I wake up the next day. BK
Nah, nah,
stream.
nah. That's my title, man. That's me.
Well, yeah, yeah.
That's
You
her
you
title.
probably love it.
She said, I get to catch all the streams.
Hey.
Hey,
Yep.
so last question about this slow mo, and
Mhm.
everybody else. If God of War does come out this year, I want to revisit the conversation around Game of the Year again. If God of War comes out, I do think
Mhm.
it's a heavyweight fight between it and Elden Ring.
I agree with that.
Does
Mhm.
Horizon even make the cut at that point?
It still gets
I don't
nominated,
think
I
it gets
think.
Yeah.
nominated if God of War. If God of
Ooh,
War
that's
gets
the
nominated, I
question.
don't think it gets nominated. If God of War is
Uh,
God of War's there, it doesn't get nominated
like at
We
all.
no, we
at
we had
all.
this discussion before. We had this
We
discussion with the
did.
backlog before.
I
I
think we
still
did. Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah, we
still
did.
contend that at at times they go the Video Game Awards is just the Jeff Keighley Video Game Awards that I'm talking about. It varies between 5 to 6 nominees for Game of the Year.
Mhm.
If we go with 6, you have Horizon Forbidden West, you have Elden Ring, you have God of War. You gotta have your Nintendo game. So your Nintendo game is going to be Pokemon, Arteris, whatever the heck that game's called.
Arceus. Yeah.
Arceus,
Yep.
sir.
Your indie game, I'm thinking I would say Sifu, but I know who's voting for this is a bunch of check marks, and the check mark brigade did not like
They don't like
Sifu because
hard games.
they don't like
Yep.
hard games. They was getting by, so it's not Sifu.
Okay.
It's got I don't know which indie game is going to be, but it's got to be an indie game,
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
I
'Cause
have a
it's
couple
always an indie.
guesses. Yeah, I have a
Um,
couple guesses on that.
and then I mean, I can't think of any other game outside of that like that will be number 6. Maybe a like a AAA not third person perspective, but third party developer game.
Evil
But you
West. Anybody? Evil West.
Ooh,
Ooh. Ooh.
that thing
maybe
it's got to shine bright,
Gotta.
but yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's gonna have to really
uh,
show
No.
up there.
It
what
But
probably
else came out this year?
Dude, me
Right.
though,
Well, I
actually.
think. Well, I remember when we had the conversation last time with you guys. That's when I think. Yeah, we still had Starfield this year, And so the
Mm-hmm.
6 game
Oh, I
so
think
the
that
s-
came up.
so the
Yeah.
6 games made it was a little harder to sell. I do agree with you, Slow Mo. I will give you that. If they do the 6 game thing, I think, at that point I do think Horizon gets in. But if they keep it to 5, I think
Even
that's where the
if they keep
problem
it to
is.
5, I
Has it
don't
been
I just
five
don't
see.
see.
before?
I just don't see. It's been
Yeah,
5. It's been five
it's
and
been
six
5
Okay.
before.
multiple times. I think I actually think it's been 5 more often than 6.
Yeah.
Mm.
But even at 5,
I just don't see
okay,
2
we
PlayStation games in
we have
there.
a token indie, we have a
Okay.
token Nintendo game, and there's 3 more slots. Elden Ring,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
God of War. What other game would deserve a nominee more than Horizon Forbidden West? Think about, like, as far as visuals, its impact and all that. Like
Wait, what the impact? Not
understand
what?
how I
Wait. Are you
understand
talking
how
about the?
hold
Are you talking
on.
about the impact to let Elden Ring take all his lunch money and run away?
Elden Ring's already in there.
No. I'm
So
just
it's
saying
not
the
like
impact
Elden
of it.
Ring taking impact away from the game doesn't mean it doesn't get
I
nominated.
I'm not saying.
But, like, we have to remember, like, in 2018, or go back to 2018,
Okay.
where we had 2 big heavyweights going at each other back then, which was God of War and Red Dead 2. Spider-Man got nominated that year.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man was nominated for, like, 6 awards that year and won 0. And
Was
Spider-Man was an
Spider-Man actually
awesome
not? Wait.
game.
Spider-Man actually nominated that year?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Oh, it
that was a
was.
heavy hitter year, though. I mean, it has a lot of
Mm-hmm.
competition.
Oh well.
Right.
Okay.
2018? Shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I didn't remember it
and
was that.
Sony often gets 2 first-party games in
Well,
there.
no. If that's the case, I didn't know. I
When The
didn't
Last
remember
of Us
that.
Part 2 won, when The Last of Us Part 2 won, Ghost of
Ghost was
Tsushima
in there. Yeah.
was in there too. So it was like they
Yeah.
often get 2 games. So, like, this wouldn't even
True.
be unusual for them to get 2 games this year.
Yeah, they probably will get it this year, especially due to Microsoft literally dropping the ball and letting all their first party titles fall out of 2022.
Right.
Well, I
They got
mean,
nothing.
Microsoft. Look, I'm not trying to sound like a hater, but Xbox struggles to get a game nominated for Game of the Year. So it's not like them not having any first party games this year
Well,
was
you
actually like a
you know what I
determination of anything.
you know what I mean though. It's not even. I don't even think Elden Ring would have probably not Elden Ring. Starfield, not knowing what it is, probably like you said, they got the seat at the table. Bethesda always got a seat there. Even if it was just Bethesda, not even a part of Xbox, it probably would still get the nomination just because it's Bethesda. But that game not being there definitely opens up the slot for another game to fall in there. Especially it was a push if it was 6 games with Starfield. But I do agree with Starfield not there. It's almost a
Okay,
shoe in at this point that it's going to be
for
nominated.
Forza, you name 5 games that
You
would be
can't not
nominated.
anymore because it's
Wait,
nothing coming out this year.
let me throw a curveball because I'm looking at the games that came out.
Hmm
How is it possible a PC only game could get in?
Talk about which,
That is
are
possible.
you talking about
Um,
not
That's
I'm
Valheim?
talking
happened a few
about
times.
I'm talking about Lost Ark.
Lost Ark, yeah.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
I,
An
You think
MMO
it's
ever been
possible?
nominated?
I don't know. I mean, it's
I
a
don't think they would.
curveball. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true, but like, I don't think they would nominate an MMO.
yeah, I don't think Lost Ark
Oh, maybe
is gonna
not.
do it
That's
though.
Maybe
not a
not.
thing.
It's happened before.
Because
Reviewers
I
don't
was
play that shit,
thinking,
man.
because
They
that
just
was
don't.
it's a big game. I mean, it did numbers.
That's
It was
fair.
huge,
You're
you know?
right.
Like, I don't know. I
And
was
you're not
just thinking like maybe. But no, since you guys are right. Like, since if it is 6 games especially, but
Yes.
even 5, I think Horizon gets in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I do. Before, we had all these games that were supposed to come out this year.
Yeah.
A few more anyways, and then that was trickier than like, I don't know. I think, Horizon's gonna miss it. But now I think it's very
So
possible.
basically, what we're saying is
They should get in
Horizon gets a chance to get beat down in the Game Awards, just like it did when it came out in February.
Yeah, I would be
It's got
I
no
would be
shot of winning.
shocked.
No
I would be
chance.
absolutely shocked if Horizon beat God of War and Elden Ring. I just
No,
don't think
yeah,
it's
there's
possible.
That's not
no
possible.
chance.
No way.
I think Elden Ring is far and away the
Here's
favorite
your
to sweep the majority of Game of the Year nominee awards with Ragnarok being like the sleeper, the take it,
you talking about
and
Red Dead?
only
Yeah.
Ragnarok really having that opportunity to do that.
So do we see a
Nothing else is
do we see a
close.
2018 where
I was about to say,
Elden Ring wins
remember,
everything and then God of War
right.
swoops in and takes the big one at the end?
That's what
So
happened then. Because remember, we thought for sure Red Dead's taking it. I remember
Yo,
thinking
Red
like
Dead
Red Dead's
won
taking this.
every category it was
Yep.
in except for Game of the Year, which made absolutely no sense. It's
That
like
was
I was
that
sitting
was
there
funny.
looking at it like, how can you win every category? Because you would
for a
think
second, you remember we were watching this together,
we
and
were.
and Red Dead kept winning everything. I was like,
Yep.
God of War's gonna win Game of the Year. There's no way they're gonna allow God of War to come away with nothing because they had both games in like every category they were nominated, and they were nominated against one another. And Red Dead was winning everything, and I was like, I
But it
know what
was,
Jeff
And
Keighley's doing.
then
but it made no
don't
sense.
don't forget 2019 as well. Remember, Death Stranding
Oh
was
yeah,
nominated, and Control was on everything, and then
Everything.
Mhm.
Sekiro came in, took it.
Yeah, and I
Sekiro,
think
that's big.
Sekiro only won Game of the Year. It lost all the other categories for
think
other
No,
stuff that it
did
was
it?
nominated in. I
I
think
think
so. Yeah.
so.
You
Yeah.
might be right on that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
But it was just super.
I'm on to you, Jeff. I'm on to you,
It was
man.
just
You
Like,
never know, man.
Look, I just felt like it was just super silly for a game like, and like I said, God of War is my favorite game of last generation. But I just thought it was real silly to see Red Dead Redemption win every category that they were in head to head, and then you literally turn around and give the award to God of War. I'm like, so what is the purpose of all the other rewards? I say just to say you. It's like, because if you're telling me I got best gameplay, I got best this, I got best that, I got best soundtrack, I got best environments,
got best voice
voice
actors, got
acting, but when it comes to
best visuals,
best
best
visual,
everything.
but then
Yeah.
when it comes to best game, you give it to something else.
It is kind of, yeah, it is interesting
It's
when that
weird.
happens. It's kind of
It
weird.
was-
I remember we looked at that too, like how they like kind of decide or whatever. Like
Mhm.
there's like the audience vote is like what 5% of the vote
Yeah,
or something,
5% of the
Yeah.
and
vote.
then the
Yeah,
rest is like overall, not overall, but there's like a panel, and then they take like votes from like review sites and stuff all over the world.
Like
So
well, go ahead,
it's
go ahead.
weird. No, I was just like that's how they vote. So it's like that is really odd that it still ended up like that. Where
yeah.
everybody
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the vote was swayed enough in the last category, in the like game of the year category, to like vote another game. You know? It's I don't know.
I'm just imagining it like even if it was just us as the panel, let's just pretend we're
Mhm.
right now discussing and you're asking me, okay, Erica, best soundtrack,
Mhm.
best gameplay, all
Mhm.
these things, and I'm like Elden Ring, Elden Ring, Elden Ring.
Yep.
And then you're
Mhm.
like, okay, what's your game of the year? God
God
of
of War.
War.
God of
You would be
War.
like,
Yeah.
huh? Like
Yeah.
what? Like, why isn't it, it's always funny like that.
It
It
makes
Yeah.
almost
sense
seems
though.
as if like it was kind of influenced. Look, which although Jeff always fights back against that, I
Yeah.
would never do that. Even though, like, you can pretty much look at certain games and say that's not getting nominated for Game of the Year. Like certain genres never get
Mhm.
nominated. It's always it
Yep.
like I said, the token indie. You always got one indie
Mhm.
game up there. You always got one Nintendo game. No matter how dry a year Nintendo has, there's always any first party game Nintendo made is nominated. Like it could be Pokemon, Poop and Scoop, with your dog,
Open scoop.
and and it's nominated because it's the only Nintendo game that's present at that time, and it's just like I see this too often for you to tell me that hey, I have a committee and I don't touch this. All right, fine. Your committee's corrupt because somebody is out here with a template of how we do this, and how we
Yep.
do this is these categories are slotted for a certain genres, a certain level of developers, and if you're a sports game, you could be the best sports game ever created. It could be back in the days NFL 2K, what was it, 4 or 5, Forte?
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, the greatest football game ever created, and you're not getting nominated. No, because you're a football game.
Your football game.
Mario
Yeah.
Sports, where you at?
You're right.
Mario Sports.
If there's a racer, the greatest
Mhm.
racer in the world, every year, every time Forza Horizon comes out, it's competing against itself for a higher Metacritic score, and every year it's completely ignored. It gets that one category, racing
Yeah.
and sports. Congratulations, you won this again for the umpteenth time. But even a nominee for Game of the Year, not even a nominee.
Right.
It is what it is. Like this stuff is it's so formulaic at this point. I think
Yeah.
that
Certain genres just get overlooked and
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just what
definitely.
the reviewers play too, right? Like somebody out there has to review the racing game, and like the rest of the people are like, I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Like,
So
I just finished Disco Elysium, which came out in 2019. Disco Elysium is an awesome RPG, but as I said earlier, a little different. I can understand a lot of people not really getting into it. But that said, when Disco Elysium came out, it was nominated for Best RPG, Best Story. The developer was nominated for Best New Developer. They won
mhm,
every award they were nominated for. But not nominated for Game of the Year.
yeah.
Mm,
It's weird. Not
yeah.
even a nomination. It's just like doesn't make any
It
sense.
it's corrupt. Burn it to the ground.
rubbers around. So, um, moving on to the next topic. Director of Elden Ring says From Software's next title is in the final stages.
Let's
So
go.
I definitely want to Slomo. I would go to you first because you play
Oh
way
no,
more.
you can't go to me
I
first.
can't. I would go to you first, but I got to go to the queen. I got to go
Oh
to.
no, don't call me that.
I got to go to the queen of the only other person that I know loves Born games and Souls games more than Luca. Erica.
Oh, I don't know about all that.
Well,
See.
Luke. See, this is the thing. Luca just, I think her appetite for Souls game it comes from you. You were here first. I think she just kind of
I
followed in
think
your footsteps.
so. I mean, well, I don't know about following me,
Well,
but I think I did
you are her
start.
mother, so I mean, if
True,
we go,
true. I am
That's it.
her
But
mother. That's
I do think
true. You're
Luca
right.
played Souls games
yeah,
before
she
she
definitely
even
did.
knew
But
Erica.
we're just going off of the mom and daughter dynamic here. That's all.
Right, right, right.
So
Yeah, I probably started before her, I guess. But no, I often I try and correct people like, no, I ain't the queen. Like I think Luca's the queen.
well, Luca is
Luca's a beast.
she's God out here.
Yeah, and replays these games over and over. I think more so than I have on specific ones,
Oh
anyways.
yeah, she goes hard. She
Um,
goes hard to paint. So, what do you?
oh
So
yeah.
for you, what do you think about this? Game of the year, Elden Ring comes out this year, and we already about to see probably some stuff in the final stages from Software again. How does it make you
Listen.
feel?
Listen, From Software, they're gods over there. Miyazaki, these guys, like you said, they've just put out Elden Ring. You would think they'd just be writing that. No, they're
Right.
working. They're doing this other thing that we haven't seen yet. And whatever it is, I mean, I know some people are running around. Bloodborne is trending, of course,
Of
on
course,
Twitter.
every year.
Oh, it's
It's because the
Bloodborne.
remaster's coming, man.
And I'm just like, no, it's not. I mean, whatever it is, like I remember when Sekiro was teased at first, like we didn't know what it was, and like, oh, there's this new thing coming out, and it's gonna be different. I remember just thinking, like, oh, like that's exciting, like whatever it is. And then when I saw Sekiro, I was like, wow, like the range that they have. I know some people will say all the games are the same, and they all use the same assets. They do often, but Sekiro was so different, so unique as far as like combat and stuff like that. I'm excited to see them do something different again. I think I would be more excited for that, if
Mhm.
anything. Because we just had Elden Ring, and we just had Demon Souls remake. I know that's Blue Point, but we've been doing the Souls thing. We've been on this train for a hot minute. So I mean, I'm excited to see what it is. But it's just crazy how they're just so busy. And I even saw something too that they're reworking, I guess, how they're going to pay their developers more. They're really working on trying to reward them because I mean, look how much money Elden Ring made, and they're super successful. And so it's just cool to see that they're just on top of things. They're constantly working. So far, so good. We haven't heard anything about crazy like crunch or harassment or nothing like that. And I just feel like they're so I don't want to say underrated because people really give From Software their due and credit, but they do often get overlooked. People talk about Naughty Dog and they talk about these other developers so much, and I'm just like, dude, From Software, they're working so hard, and they make, and every game is a banger. Like their whole catalog, it's good,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
they
know.
could potentially
So
have two game of the years back to back.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
that's
if it came
crazy.
out that soon, maybe, yeah, I'm thinking maybe 2024. But
Well, I'm talking about from because Sekiro was Game of the Year,
oh yeah, yeah, you're
and
talking
then
about.
Elden Ring could win it this year. That could be 2 Game of the
Hmm.
Years back to back. Do you think that because like I'm looking at the language of like the Belgians tweets, and they're saying an unannounced project
Mhm.
is in the final
Unannounced.
stages, but then follows that up by saying, let me go actually right back to it. Follows that up by saying, Miyazaki intends to continue focusing on directing games. Is already working on his next game. So it's like,
Damn.
I think that the unannounced project is DLC
Oh,
for
so that's where
Elden
your
Ring.
mind is going.
Be-
Yeah, my
Because
mind
if it was
kind of went
another
there.
game, they would have said
Mm,
unannounced game is in final stages of development, and
project.
Yeah.
yeah, but they said unannounced
True.
project, and I think like that could be an expansion to Elden Ring, which I kind of hope it is, because like there's so much with that
And that's what
lore
we're
to
kind of
be explored.
expecting. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It did cross my mind too. I didn't really look too much into it, which is crazy. You would think I would, but yeah, I saw the tweets and I was like, okay, cool, something's coming, you know. But yeah, a lot of people are expecting it's going to be DLC. I remember people thinking that was going to happen at the Games Fest, Jeff Keighley's thing. They were going to announce it there, but they didn't. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense whether it's that or something else.
Guys, I know what it is.
Um,
I know what it
what?
is.
Wow.
It's
What?
multiplayer with a battle pass.
Oh,
Oh
Microtransaction?
Lord. I mean, they be having a lot of swag in those games, man.
that'd
Because
be
weren't
No,
they
crazy.
rumored too to be working on Armored Core as well?
Yeah,
Bringing
that
They
that
was a
were.
back?
They
rumor.
were.
That was a rumor. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just always constant rumors of stuff going
crossover.
on.
Crossover. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Um,
kidding.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
other
I don't know.
that other tweet where Nebo said that he's working on something, and I think this probably was more act directly addressing the new game, the next
Mhm.
game he's working on, but he said more abstract fantasy, and it
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah, that's
reminded
what I
me of
saw.
something that I don't know if you guys know this author, but he's like my favorite author. His name is Brandon Sanderson, and he makes like
Yes,
really good books.
we talked about
And
it.
yes, yeah, oh, yeah. Shar knows what I'm talking about.
I know.
Brandon Sanderson has been streaming Elden Ring on his
Oh,
YouTube
shut
channel
up,
for like all
dude.
Huh.
year, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
He started streaming Elden Ring after he did one of his usual Q&A
Oh,
blogs, and he was talking about how From Software had approached him on potentially a project, and he
bro,
was
don't say
mulling it
that.
over,
Oh,
but he wanted to make sure it was something that was like to the same like level of quality that his books are, and he wanted to make sure it was something that was like
bro.
to the expectations of his fans as well as From Software fans. And then after that, he starts playing Elden Ring. So to me, it almost seemed like he was
Mm,
playing Elden Ring to kind of like get his
get,
mind around
yeah,
what
get
he wanted to
familiarized.
write. Yeah,
Yeah.
get familiar with how they make games to kind of see like how he would try to like make this work.
Bro, don't say
And
that. Why are you gonna say that to me now? I'm
I
just thinking about a Mistborn fucking game,
oh that
dude.
would be a miss.
Ah.
Although I do think this would be a brand new like
No, yeah.
IP, completely separate from the stuff that he's written in the
I
past.
just think
But
so. Oh,
he
but
is
he could write
so
it into the
good
sorry,
at
I'm going like
fantasy.
conspiracy. I'm going into conspiracy theory, bro. I'm like, what if he wrote it into his universe? Like the game is a part of the universe
Yeah,
that he's got.
his Cosmere, yeah, like that. He would definitely do that. He would
Yeah,
definitely
he
have
bro,
it
he will.
be
He will.
connected. But yeah,
Ah,
he's so good at creating these like systems within games,
yeah,
Sharp wrote Mistborn, and Mistborn has like
easy
this
system.
system where like people metabolize metals and it gives them powers. And it's
Mhm.
like it's a very structured system within it. He's really good at like cranking that kind of stuff out and having it be like really compelling and actually interesting within the story and how it works. And I can see when he's talking about a more abstract fantasy, like them kind of going away from not necessarily from their way of making games, because I think that From Software template they'll never go away from. That's their moneymaker. That's the reason why they are, considered where they are as far as like, among the best developers in the video game industry. But I think that as far as adding in new things that make whatever new game they're going to make to be unique and different from other From Software games, the way Sekiro is unique and different from Souls games and yada yada yada.
Mhm.
I think that they could incorporate some kind of like the world systems that Sanderson creates, and then find a way to translate that into an actual game, and I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Question for Slow Mo. Forte, did you play Elden Ring? No?
No.
No, okay. So it's for Slow Mo and
Yo,
chat or whoever.
Even though I own the game and haven't played it yet.
If it is a new game, I mean, they're obviously gonna have one at some point, brand new game. Would you prefer it more linear or do you want like another Elden Ring?
linear how? Like more story driven, you think? Like
No,
or
more so like before, like a Bloodborne or Dark
ah
Souls.
Before he answers that,
or Demon Souls. Like
Yeah,
okay,
Demon
okay.
Souls.
before
Yeah,
bef-
you play
I
Demon Souls.
bef-
Yeah, so like
before
Yeah.
that.
before Slobo answers that, I'll give you an answer based on a bunch of people that I talk to every day when I'm at work, and I ask, "Hey, why are you playing?" I said, "Have you ever played a Souls game before?" And they say, "No, I'm buying this because my friend said it was really, really good, and they bought it, and I see it all the time." And a lot of
Yeah,
those same people, I asked that same question to, and they like the fact that it's open and that is it's more approachable that way. Like
it is.
you're not
Yeah.
tied into any engagement. You can get out of any fight for the most part and go off and do something else.
Mhm.
If you're not ready for that engagement, you can leave and go do something else and come back whenever you're ready to do it. So
Right.
I would say like just from the outside looking in, probably for somebody like you, I don't know about Slomo because he's like kind of new to it, but for somebody like you and like
Mhm.
Luca, I think the openness of the game kind of takes away from the things that you love the most. If I had to like just like look from the outside looking in,
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
I think the linear aspect of the game is more appealing. But I think for the majority of people, the people that like the spectrum of people that bought this game, like I talked to somebody that literally never played one before in his life today. He came into the store and he said, dude, I have over 200 hours in Elden Ring and I can't stop playing this game. I said, is this your first? I said, are you just a Souls fan? He said, no, this was my first one. I just can't put this game down. He said, I just like the exploration of
Yeah.
going anywhere I want to go. And I think the thing is about this game is it feeds that kind of a itch that people get when it comes to like those games as a service. Even though in this game isn't in that regard, it's so much you can do. Like we talk about how many bosses are in the game. There's still people that are still going
Over
after. Yeah,
150
there's still people trying
bosses,
to
but
fight all the bosses in the game. So
only
yeah,
only like 30 unique ones or something like that. I don't
yeah,
remember what the
Less
exactly.
number is.
than that. I think it's 6
Yeah,
that are unique.
Yeah, so
right.
6.
that's
It's
where
It's
I
a
crazy.
lot of
think,
copying. It's a
yeah.
lot of copying.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like God of
yeah.
You
War
run
with
into
the
them
orc.
Goskin twins like 6 million times. That worm, you run into that
Yeah.
worm a
Now,
bunch of
See,
times.
now
Yeah,
yeah.
it's I think
for you,
for
slow mo,
me,
yeah, that's what I'm saying for
I
you.
I enjoyed Elden Ring more than Demon Souls. I like Demon Souls, but I really, really like Elden Ring.
Mhm.
So I would prefer another like open worldish game that's like Elden Ring instead of the more linear path. Although what I think they should do is that they should be developing games for their hardcore base, which would be more like in the
Mhm.
vein of a Bloodborne, the Sekiro kind of game, and then also be developing another game from like maybe not necessarily a second team, but kind of like have them being developed in tandem uh for all their newer fans that they have developed with Elden Ring, because this game within a month had outsold all of their prior games, like or
Right.
immediately. Like that was so like now you have that's a whole new audience really of people who haven't tried your game before,
Yeah.
and this wasn't one of your more linear titles. This is the one that's more open world. So you kind of, if you go back to only doing the linear path, I think you lose those people who
Mhm.
got this game enjoyed it, but they enjoyed it for a lot of the very things that Forte had mentioned that won't that will be there in bits and pieces, but not like the entire experience all in one package. So I think they got to do both. They got to do both. I think.
Yeah, just the fact that, how much it's sold is just insane compared to their other games. And clearly, as a studio, you would think business-wise, like, oh,
Business
this
is
is it. Like,
booming.
this is working. It's booming.
Hmm.
Right. I think it'd be cool if they did DLC, like expansions for Elden Ring, and then on the side, do the linear stuff. Like, have a couple games come out
Mm.
within the next, 5 to 6 years or whatever.
I would like that. I would
That would
like
be
that.
awesome, and they just
Yeah.
keep expanding Elden Ring. I mean, they're so creative and so, unique in their designs and, like, world building and all of that stuff. I feel like they could do it
I
Yeah,
if
I
they
agree
really
with that
wanted to.
completely. The lore,
Yeah.
if you look into the lore of Elden Ring, a lot of the characters, like Queen America, isn't even from the lands between. She's from a different land. I forgot the name of it. But like you could have a expansion that actually would take place in that land. You could have you could kind of like uh explore some of these other things that may have happened with like what's the name of one of her children? The one that was kidnapped by Lord Mog. I forgot his name. Mikola. You could have an
Yeah.
expansion because Mikola's almost not even really talked about, addressed at all in Elden Ring. Like there's so much there and so much lore that they worked with Martin to create that you've got a ton of stuff that you could just continue to go bounce off of with expansions. The Greater Will, like at one point near the end of Elden Ring, um, one of them little old ladies
Old ladies.
tells you in the stronghold, she's like, yeah, we told the Greater Will what you did and burn in the tree. We gonna get a message back, but they ain't gonna come anytime soon. Like at some point, there's gonna be a retaliation for everything that happened, right? So it's like these are all setting up potential stories, potential expansions that could definitely just be iterated on consistently throughout like the next few years, so that like you could just have Elden Ring just keep going,
Yeah, they
and
could.
of course charge people for the expansions. But I think enough people are invested in that world and in that game that they would definitely bite.
Yeah, they could do something like Ghost of Tsushima did, where they added Iki Island to the game, like just add more
Yeah.
open
There's a
Mhm.
whole
areas.
other part of the world. I mean, do you see
Yeah,
that map?
the
Like
map is
it's
huge.
big, but it's got like this like fog and stuff around it. Like they could just keep going with it if they wanted
Right.
to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Char, I don't
Mm,
know. Are you into the are you into those games at all?
nope.
She said, "What? So how do you
That's why I didn't mention Char.
so let me ask you this, because slow mo was very blasphemous about Souls games for a while
I wouldn't
until
call it
it,
You you
blasphemous.
until
kind of were.
yeah,
You
you
kind of
were.
were.
You were sitting there like he said these games are janky and all this other stuff.
I said they appear to be because I hadn't played them
Mhm.
to look janky. Don't
Yeah.
misquote me, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
fine. Okay, appear to
I mean,
be and look okay, appear to look janky. Okay, fine. So
Mhm,
let me ask you this. So
mhm,
you've been around Erica for a while. It
mhm.
hasn't been any type of lure to like even just jump into the games and just at least try them, or have you even tried them?
We played. Well, I played Neo 1. Um, I
mhm.
played
Ooh,
up
some people say that's
to.
hardcore right there.
It's yeah.
That's hard. That's
Neo
hardcore.
sucks.
Dude, that's what everybody fucking tells me. They're like, "Dude, you played Neo? What the fuck?"
That's
No, but
hardcore right there.
I got up to Nue. I think I killed Nue by myself, which is like not like crazy far in the game, but it's a fair bit into the game, and that's about where I got to like solo. And then I like asked Erica for help in some places, and then somebody else for some help to like beat the game eventually, like co-op. But I mean, I got the far away by myself. But and then the other one I guess I don't know is Code Vein. I started
Okay.
up Code Vein this year, but
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
Souls
I'm
like
not
couple
I'm
Souls
not sure if
like.
I'm really feeling that one as much, but maybe I'm just demoralized because the cathedral area was a fucking bitch. But
You got lost, huh? or
I
something, or what
I got
happened?
I got lost a lot, but like also it's just like this just like close quarters is really difficult in that game, I find. But
Mm.
yeah, and I've heard from other people that have told me that like Code Vein's not the best like gameplay, and I kind of see that like it's not doesn't feel the best to me. I felt Neo
Mhm.
was a little bit more snappy for me, but yeah. Anyways, so like those are the only two that I've really like tried, and I mean I think I'm a pretty patient person, but I just don't. I don't know. I have a threshold of like where I know I'm getting salted a game and then I just stop. You know,
Yeah.
I can only play Code Vein for like 2 hours at a time before I get like too mad at it to like continue. Um so like I don't know. I mean I was kind of excited for Elden Ring to come out. I saw everybody getting excited for it. I was like, maybe I'll give it a try. I haven't bought it, by the way. I haven't tried it. I haven't played it. But like I don't know if the open world aspect is I guess it's kind of more of a draw because I do tend to gravitate towards open world games, but at the same time, it's still a Soulsborne game, so I'm like, conflicted. But it would be cool. You guys are talking about like DLC and stuff. I literally just finished Kingdoms of Amalur's final DLC, like the third
Oh,
DLC.
nice.
And that in the way that they did DLC in that game is like what you guys are talking about is like a completely different area that you go to. It's all like fleshed out and there's a whole like storyline in it and there's like extra stuff you can do there and it just added on to the game. Like the final DLC actually added on a damage type, which is nuts. This game came out in 2012 and the final DLC they gave it was like something that completely changed the way you play. Which is crazy, but love that. So it'd be cool if you guys got like a different area you could go to in like Elden Ring. It would make sense for like the DLC. That's like the only way you could really feasibly do a DLC, unless you added like a game mode or something that I was joking about earlier. But I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunate for myself, I bought that game day one, and
Oh
Couldn't
Elden
no.
play
Ring?
it.
and then Destiny Witch Queen came out 3 days before, and it was a wrap.
Oh.
It was a wrap.
Mm.
So that's it. I do plan on getting to it because I definitely wanted. I was looking at. I got a chance to play it early, like last year. I was like, yo, this feels really really good. It's like I think. I mean, what do you think? Do you guys? I mean, Erica, do you think it's like probably the second fastest Souls game? I mean, Sekiro is probably the fastest. Do you think it? Where do you think it
Uh,
like speed it
fast
is?
in terms of the combat and
Yeah, the
stuff?
combat. Yeah,
It
Yeah, I
doesn't look
mean,
that fast.
it it's it feels like Dark Souls 3. It's just I think what you're probably thinking of is like maybe the art of Ashes of Wars
yeah.
and like the weapons they seem fast
They do
and like
seem a
some of
lot
the
faster.
bosses seem fast. They're kind of quick. But no, I wouldn't say it's like dramatically
It's
faster.
not
No, it's to
dramatically.
me it reminded me of Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, definitely want to get into it and finish that out.
I
What you gonna say,
but
Slomo?
before you move on, I
Yeah.
heard something. I haven't played Sekiro, so I can't speak to this personally. But I've heard multiple people say that like Elden Ring is Dark Souls 3 combat mixed with Dark Souls 2, some elements of Dark Souls 2, but the bosses are like Sekiro bosses.
I've heard that too with the Dark Souls 2 thing. I've played Dark Souls 2. So I kind of know what they're talking about. It's been a minute, but yeah, Dark Souls 3. It's heavy Dark Souls 3 for me. Sekiro on the bosses, they're probably talking about what's her
Melina,
face? Yeah, Melina or
yeah,
Millennia or whatever her name is.
Millennia, Blade
Melina?
and Milica.
Or
Sekiro is
And I've never seen
I'm
defeat.
already
You
forgetting
still
her
have
name
it.
already. Yeah, because I said
God dang.
she would be good in Sekiro because of how fast she is. Like, I would love to have my Sekiro character go against her. And I said that before. So yeah, I could see other people saying that. Yeah.
Sekiro is the parry machine.
Certain
Literally,
bosses.
that game is all about parry.
I'd be so bad at
Yeah.
that
I had
game. I
somebody
suck
come
at
into
it.
the store. It's like he played Dark Souls 3. He's like, yeah, it's like I'm really not doing anything. I was like, yeah, you got. I said Sekiro is all about parrying. I think you can dodge all you want. You got to parry in that game. If you ain't
Yeah,
if
it
you ain't
forces you.
if you ain't parrying, you gonna be taking a long time with those bosses. But yeah, and that's another one I need to definitely get to.
Sekiro, yeah, it was tough because I came from Souls to Sekiro, and so to shake off the Souls formula, it took me a minute. I
Yeah.
found it harder because I wanted to play it like Souls, and you can't. Like, you could for a few bosses, I was able to get away with it, but then there's this one specific boss that's like, nope, you cannot get away with that anymore. Like, you got to
What's
learn this game.
what's your favorite?
Genichiro.
What's your favorite game in the franchise of all of them?
Oh man,
We already know Slow
it's
Mo because Elden Ring, he only got one game, so.
It's Bloodborne. Why are you even asking?
no.
us
Well,
that?
here's the
Blade
thing,
2.
like, because I started playing Bloodborne again. I'm like, God, it's so good. You know, it hits me. Like, I love it so much. But I also really love Dark Souls 3. So it's kind of between those two. And Sekiro is like there as far as quality. That's probably my top 3. Is like Sekiro's got to be in there because it's just so polished. It's so good as far as combat goes, but just the overall like atmosphere, environment, all of that, I prefer like the Bloodborns and the Dark Souls.
Oh,
You
nice.
know,
Too
yeah,
bad we'll never get a Bloodborne 2.
dude, it just needs. Come
It
on,
just
man, give
needs
me
to
60
happen.
frames at the very least. Give us 60 frames, but
Yeah,
they
Oh,
won't.
that's true.
the remaster. The remaster's coming. No, it's
That's it. All right, so
Wild.
moving on to the last topic. Appreciate everybody still here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody that comes through and supports the show. Finish up this last topic, and it's about PlayStation Premium or Essentials or Extra or whichever one you actually find yourself dibbling in. I'm going to start with you, Shard. Are you part of the PlayStation Premium or Network? I can't even think of the word, but are you part of the overall subscription model for that?
you mean like the upgrades and stuff?
Yes.
I haven't upgraded yet. I don't know if I want to,
Mm.
honestly.
So what's pushing against it for you?
Because I'm Canadian and everything is like 30% increase for me. So just like the price, obviously, but and I like pay other subscriptions for other stuff, so it's like it's mostly the price and also like all the stuff I'm playing on my PlayStation is like mostly physical stuff, and I switch around. I jump around quite a lot from like PC to my Switch to my PlayStation, which I only have PlayStation 4 here at the moment. But like I don't I don't play it enough to warrant the upgrade, and also like sorry Sony, but not sorry Sony. I know about emulation and I know how to do that. So like
Facts.
like I'm not gonna pay your fucking like maximum premium thing just so I can play Wild Arms 1 again, because one, I've already played it, but also I can emulate it if I really wanted to. So like it's not like I might give it a second look if it's got like PS3 games that I want to play, but again, it's like that's like I might even still be like on that point. So
You probably don't want to stream them, so
yeah. Well, I like the PS3. PS3 was where I really
PS3
really got
was
hardcore into gaming. So
PS3 got a really bad.
bangers.
As much as people celebrate PS3's resurgence towards the end of the generation, it got such a bad rap due to just the direction they went when it came to developing the cell processor, and it just wasn't easy to work for. And that just kind of carried throughout the generation. And who knew Microsoft was just going to let that whole thing fall apart in 2013 and let PlayStation get back on top when it comes to it? So
Mhm.
that's interesting. But what about you, Erica? Which one are you in if you're in any of them, and how has that experience been if you have used it?
PlayStation,
Yeah.
what's it called? I have not used it. I've had Game Pass for a minute now. Honestly,
We're
I
not talking about Game Pass, bro. We're talking
I
about
know,
Sony, bro.
but I haven't been on it, so I don't feel like I don't have much to say. I haven't even really looked
When's
into
the
it.
last
Like, I
time
know they
you
have.
turned on that PlayStation 5 of yours?
Listen, man, don't ask me that. Don't
Oh
ask me
no.
that.
Oh no.
That
Oh,
thing a
that
little
play.
bit dusty. No, no. Okay,
Oh.
so I played it. I went back to I played Returnal, the DLC, and all that junk that they added co-op, and then I played some Horizon. I started Horizon. I've been on it a little bit. We did 2042. Remember, I did hop on. That was on my PS5.
That's
It's
still
here and there,
that
you
still
know.
doesn't answer the last time you turned it on. You talking about all these games that you said you did turn it on for. When is the last time that
When
system had
was
to?
that?
When was it? When the
You
last
don't
time you held a
actually
controller in
know?
your hand?
Listen, all I know is I
Erica.
set up my X, right? Because I got an
Shout
X.
out to the X on the baby watch.
Yeah. Shout out to my awesome viewer who insisted I have it and he bought it for me, which is insane. I'm still tripping on that. But I took a picture of it, right? And I realized in the picture my PS5 was dusty in the background.
Oh my god.
I didn't even bother to wipe it. It's crazy. But no, I would say maybe like a month ago I turned it on.
Ooh.
No, maybe
That's
3
not
weeks. 3
terrible.
weeks. Yeah, I've been kind of just on my PC, doing my thing and wait, what am I talking about? Hold on. I played
What?
Bloodborne. I played Bloodborne on it.
Yeah, you
Oh,
did. Yeah,
wait.
you did. That was
Yeah.
like less than a month
Oh.
ago.
That was like less than 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been on it.
But-
It's just a little
For
dusty,
Bloodborne.
She says, yeah. So what? So basically, you
Well,
out
it's
there
a
playing old
PS4
games.
game.
Hey, what?
It is a PS4 game, but I did
Oh my God.
load it into the PS5. So technically I played it.
So what you're saying is, playing old games on brand new consoles is still a thing. Because
Listen,
you listen to
man.
Twitter, you don't buy you don't buy new consoles for old games.
Sometimes it happens. I mean, I'm not opposed. So
I'm not
yeah.
opposed either. Shout out to you, but I did see that picture with that play. I was like, yo, that PlayStation looked lowly as that corner. I can't lie though. When
my
I
poor PS5.
I can't lie.
It's getting worse.
I can't lie. When I redid my gaming setup, I took my PlayStation used to sit on my desk with my PC and everything so I could capture video. And then I got to the point where I said, do I really need my PlayStation in here? It's not like God of War is coming in 2022 or anything. So I took my PlayStation, put it out on the main TV on the other side of the room, and
Because it is.
it's literally been sitting over there for like the last 2 months, just waiting for some. Like I did boot it up, I want to say a week ago, because I forgot that PlayStation, the updates for PlayStation Plus were happening, just to see what it looked like. And I have to say, I'm very impressed with the layout of it. I like how it's categorized and everything. I do think the 800 games that they talk about is a little overblown, because you go play some of those games, you're just like, some of these games should have just been like left back in the generation that they were at. Even knowing you do, it's good to have access to those games and be able to download them and play them on your system. But those games are just they're rose tinted glasses are definitely a thing when it comes to games like that at this point. I will say that. I tried Wild Arms, I tried a couple of other games, and I was like, oh,
100%.
I was listening to shout out to Persona. I was listening to him today on Crossfire. He was like, Siphon Filter should have literally, he said the thoughts of that game should have stayed back in the generation it was in, because it just didn't feel good when you were playing it. So that's kind of the experience I've been hearing from a lot of people with it. But I do like the fact that it's actually a thing, because it's moving in a direction where game preservation is becoming a thing on consoles, which hasn't been a thing but on PC for the longest. So I'm definitely enjoying it myself. I'm not really partaking in it as much, because it's not like I had to pay for it. It's something that I already had. So they just upgraded me for a whole nother year on it. So as stuff comes out, I'll definitely do it. The only thing that sucks is, for me being a person that buys a lot of games, I already own like all the big games like Ghost of Tsushima and Spider-Man, the games that people get the benefits of actually, oh, if I'm in the service, I can play all these games that I didn't get a chance to play before I got my PlayStation 5. Well, I already have all these games, so it really doesn't make sense for me to have the service. So I think that's kind of the only hit or miss thing, but that's just mostly a gaming thing, because you buy the games that you like to play and you don't wait for games.
I mean, but like the part that I don't like is that highest tier is literally just preying on people's nostalgia factor.
Yes,
I hate that.
I
I
agree.
hate that so, and that's why I'm never gonna get it, and that's
With
why
the old games.
I suggest emulation, because like what the fuck? Just put them on your fucking console so I can buy them
Yeah, I
on my
agree.
PS4. Like, sure, you can discontinue the PS3 store, like whatever. Just make sure they're on PS4, and then this is how they make it on PS4. I'm not gonna pay like, what is it, like $90, like $80, whatever the fuck it is. I don't remember. But
110.
like, Oh, fuck me, dude. That's like 130 in Canadian. Fuck that shit. It's not happening.
I,
I'm not gonna do
I,
it.
I have a question.
Like,
I have something for you, Char. Let me ask you something. You said you're Canadian, right? You
yes,
do.
sir.
You do. It always something that always rattles my brain when people talk about Canadian dollars and stuff. I
Mhm,
understand the tariffs and stuff when it comes to like
mhm,
importing stuff, but
yeah.
if I was to take my American dollar over to Canada and
Mhm,
transfer it over to what your currency is,
mhm.
isn't it the same? Isn't it like the same amount that that it would be an American at that point?
The conversion at the moment of this recording
Is I
is
don't know what it is. How
one
much is it?
Canadian dollar is 78 like 78 cents for you guys.
So okay, so it's a 20. Okay, so it's literally a 22% markup at that point.
Yeah, but like we also get it just in digital. Like whenever somebody is on like talking about like game prices and they're like, "Oh man, it's only like $15." And then I go onto Steam and like everything on my Steam is in Canadian because that's the currency I pay in and
Yeah,
it's like $20 for me. And I'm like, "Oh
yeah.
my god, you guys."
I know it's inherently higher. I just didn't know how much because like last time I went over to Canada, it was like the dollar was closer. It was like I think it was only
Yeah,
like a
well,
10
yeah.
cent. It was like only a 10 like every dollar, like every 90 cent was a dollar for you guys. So it was a lot
Mhm.
closer. So I was like, oh, it's not that bad. And I've been hearing people talk about shout out to Ramon Terrell in the chat from over there. And he talks about
Mhm.
those prices and stuff. I say, it
Mhm.
can't be that bad because it's been a long time
No,
since I
they're
went
bad.
across that border. Because
Yeah.
I live in Michigan, so I'm literally right across the like 5 minutes from Windsor. And the last time I went over there, I was like, "Oh, I get more money for my stuff." But then you start thinking about it, it's not really that much more
Mhm.
money. But for you guys, it's actually a huge difference now.
It's huge.
Hey, that's
Like I remember like games have always been expensive, right? But then they started like marking them up and then games were $80. And I went, holy shit, $80 for a new game? That's insane. Now they're $90. And I'm like, what the actual
yeah.
fuck?
So you take our
Mm.
$60 game and you multiply that over what 60 times 10 cent for every dollar. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's where you're right. That's where it adds up.
It's
So
messed up, dude. And
yeah,
that's why like people are like, oh man, games are so expensive. I'm like, no, you don't fucking know how games are expensive, man. You don't get it, dude.
right.
So like, yeah, that's a whole thing. That's a
Yeah.
whole other conversation. But yeah, it's not. I don't know. I became very selective. I guess is the word I want to use in the games that I started to play because like I just like I couldn't do triple A every fucking
Expensive.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, that's nuts. So Slomo, bring
Plague is $80. Yeah.
that's what Ramon did. He said Plague Tale is $80 over here at 60.
Mhm.
So Slomo, bring us home on this, man. What I know you definitely dove in there. I think you're on the premium tier, right?
I am. I got grandfathered in because I had PS Now, and I had PS Plus. So everyone who had both of those got grandfathered into the or not grandfathered, but just transitioned into uh, PS Premium. So I I looked at it and I was like, well, all right, let me see if there's anything I actually want to play. And everything that I so far have downloaded, I've looked at some games like, oh man, that's here. But I'm like, I don't feel like playing that, so I haven't installed it. So it's just like everything that I've installed has been God, well, let me actually take a look at it. It's been stuff that's like PS4 games
Okay.
that like I wanted to go back to but never found the time. Like there's like a Resident Evil director's cut. I don't even like Resident Evil. I don't even know why I installed that one. But Gravity Rush 1 and 2
Hmm.
are games I reinstalled. But other than that, like I haven't really like dove too far deep into it. I don't really have the time because I play majority on PC. But when I wanted to like take a look at it, I've looked here and there, and I see the appeal, and I do also get you guys' point about like preying on people's nostalgia for having this tier, and but I always say like for always say this in regards to whether something a service or a game is worth the price is always it's subjective. It's worth it to the people that is worth it to, and if the majority of people is not worth it to, then they'll play out that way and they'll have to make adjustments. um value is subjective overall. So if there was
Mhm.
like, say, all the classic games that I played on Super Nintendo, if Nintendo had a service where literally I had access to all of them, and it was like a flat price per month, and I could access that on my a Nintendo console or through, some kind of streaming service to PC or whatever, I would jump on that because there's a ton of games on Super Nintendo that, like, Super Nintendo's my favorite console. So for me, that would have been like perfect. But I can see how other people might be like, I'm not spending that much money per month. I'm not spending $15 a month or $120 per year for that. But there are other people that are just like, they're going back to the catalogs. They're playing old games. They may be realizing some of how they felt about those games was nostalgia, and it wasn't as good as they thought it was. But hey, it's I mean, that's what it's all about. Now, in regards to it being better than Game Pass, I would say Game Pass is probably still slightly better because Game Pass will still guarantee you first party content day and date. And so although you get that nostalgia, you get some of those older games. I could go play KOTOR on through Game Pass on my Xbox right now. And KOTOR is amazing, or KOTOR 2. But then I will also still have access to Redfall when it comes out next year, day and date. So I still think that that first party uh access is what still makes it slightly better than what Sony's offering right now.
Oh man. Shout out
Yeah.
to I'm a Rich Swag Lord becoming a member. Shout out to you, bro. Really, really appreciate it.
Ooh,
Shout out to the one
nice.
percenters. If you don't know, that's what the community is. We are a part of the group of people that literally don't follow other people. 90% of the world does one thing. We move a little bit different here in the 10%. So shout out to everybody that's
Mhm.
a part of that group, and make sure you keep playing the games and don't listen to what other people are telling you to do. Appreciate it though, bro. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Slow mo in general, it just ultimately comes down to what is good for you. If you're on a PlayStation platform and you like those games, subscribe to the service. If you don't, you can always get those games later. Like I said, the only thing I don't like about it is that the demos are tied to the highest tier. I don't feel, and this goes for
They're
Xbox.
not demos.
Oh yeah, yeah. Time trials. Time trials, right? Not demos. Time trials. I don't feel like you should be paying for a time trial in a subscription service. I feel like,
Bet you the only way they were able to offer something like this was to have it to the top tier.
yeah,
Because if you think about it, I think game developers and publishers know that not everybody who buys their games are going to actually enjoy them. That they are enjoying a certain like percentage of sales off where people literally bought the game, spent maybe 30 minutes in it, and will never play it again. You create time trials for their games, and that's going to hinder sales because now people, instead of like just buying the game, finding out they didn't like it, and then never, even if they buy it physical or they take it back to GameStop or whatever, that developer still got that money. It's the retailer that's got to eat that game. Now you add time trials in, and now people can try a game out, and then at 30 minutes they didn't have to spend anything on that game in order to realize that game wasn't for them. I'm pretty sure there are plenty of publishers and developers that are not cool with that being something that would be easily accessible, even to the bottom tier PS Plus. Because for them, it's going to be like, what you giving me? What am I getting out of this? Because I'm missing out on sales with you offering this. So one, you're either going to have to offer it in a way that where I'm going to get something from per download on the time trial, and in order to do that, they're probably going to have to minimize the number of people that are doing it, and if they are doing it, they're spending extra money to do so. So like that seems like how that works. It's just like for us as consumers, of course, we're going to be like, man, I want that for free. But then we're not
Right.
looking on the back end of things or like how this all works out, how you're going to be able to get like 2 hours access to a game that you didn't play. I'm sorry, that you didn't buy. It's a little different.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm,
I agree with that. Um,
yeah.
does anybody have anything else that they want to add to it before we close out this show?
No, it was a
I
good
think that
time.
Yeah,
I'm
was
definitely.
kind
good,
of, I'm
man.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, getting tired, but I mean, time flew.
Well, I
Yeah.
will listen. I mean, that's
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 true.
that
That's true.
that's that baby talking to you.
Yeah. Oh,
that
oh
that
gosh.
that
Yeah.
baby talking to you. You used to be able to stay up to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Now it's like,
Oh, those days are gone. Yeah.
old mama Cuts is like, man, gotta go take my butt to
I
sleep.
know it's going fast too.
Yeah.
So,
So
and
let's.
that's going to be interesting for us. Like I talked to Shar already.
Mhm.
Like, obviously, we're going to probably take a break, and it's gonna be different. So, but we're still going to keep going.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun
We don't
still.
expect anything less from you
Yeah.
two ladies. Uh,
Oh, thank you.
I have
Thank
a
you.
so this is how I want to end the show with you guys. For first of all, shout out to everybody that came through the chat. We really appreciate it. Um, start with our amazing guest, Shar. Always love the conversations that you bring. I definitely have more of an appreciation now that I actually got a chance to be on 2 different podcasts with you and have conversations with you.
Oh,
Always admired you from afar just because I like the chemistry you have with Erica, and Erica's the homie. So I always like, if Erica can rock with her, I can rock with her. Now I know I can rock with you 100% because you part of the family and stuff now. So please let everybody know what's been going on with you, where they can find you, and what is your favorite game of all time?
Oh God. Oh no. Nah,
Pick
okay.
one game. One game. No
Only
two.
one?
just one.
No honorable mentions. Just the first game that comes off the top of your head. Favorite game of all
I got it.
time.
All right, got it. Okay, so yeah, you can find me everywhere on Drin Pixeled. I'm mostly on Twitter and Twitch. I do have YouTube, but I don't really upload stuff. I upload when I feel like it, basically. But yeah, and my favorite game is probably Golden Sun: The Lost Age.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Okay. That's what I'm
Golden
talking about.
Sun.
They said, "Oh, like they don't know what it is." Anybody who doesn't know what that is, it's a Game Boy Advance game, and it's like one of my favorite RPGs ever. So like,
Who? Okay, you got it.
So
Kidding.
Grandma Cuts.
Grandma
Grandma
I love
Cuts.
she's upgraded to
She's not
grandma.
even she
Wow.
has not even seen
Listen,
her first child
listen,
yet, and you
listen,
calling her
listen.
grandma
We're
cut.
talking about Grandma
Oh
Cuts
my
when no, we're talking
God.
about Grandma Cuts when it comes
Online, I'm a
online.
grandma, sure.
Listen.
Remember, because like Luca's
Yeah.
the daughter, right? And
Right.
Luca's got her sons, and 2 of them are slow mo.
Right.
I don't know anything about that, but
See,
go ahead, continue.
slow mo just does not want to
He
accept.
denies
He
it.
denies it every day of his life.
Mm.
So please
So
tell
you're
us.
not. That's
Please
all?
tell
Okay.
us where they can find you, everything you got going on. When is that baby?
Yeah.
When is your due date for that baby? And what is your favorite game of all time?
Shoot. Okay, so Erica's for the win. I mean, you just look it up.
Is it a
How
chat
do you
too?
I'm
spell
sure.
that, Erica? How do you spell it?
Oh, it's so long. You know what? You know what? You know how I have that as like my email, right? I
Mhm.
use it for my email. So when I do things in the real, with like doctor appointments or whatever,
Yeah.
oh, can we get your email to send you
Erica,
confirmation?
oh my
Dude,
God.
I dread it every time because I have to spell it out every
So
time. Like,
funny.
oh, I need a new email. That's hilarious. But yeah, I'm sure you'll have the links in the description, right?
Yep,
Erica's for the
they're in
win.
the
You
chat
have it
too.
there. Thank you for that. Yeah, everywhere. It's across the board. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. Find me there. My due date is well, actually, let me plug the podcast. Hold on,
Yeah,
the
do that too.
backlog.
Yeah. I forgot.
Backlog podcast with me and Shar. It's us two, and we usually bring on a guest. Sometimes we don't though, and we just rock it. So
Mhm.
every other Saturday, so not tomorrow, but next Saturday, and we're every other Saturday from there on. So you could catch us on my YouTube with that every other at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. And we also have a Patreon if you want to check that out. Patreon.com/the backlog pod. But yeah, I'm due in August. It shifts from the 21st to the 28th. They can't seem to get it right.
That means it's gonna come on the
Either
14th.
I don't know why. I guess because of the ultrasounds, they're measuring different each time or something. I'm not sure, but he is due. It's a boy. He's due between the 21st and 28th, pretty much. And favorite game of all time?
Hmm.
Ah,
One game, no honorable
I don't know.
mentions.
I mean, I my mind always goes to Ocarina of Time because I
Woo!
grew up on that game. That was everything I dreamed about. I actually had dreams about that game when it before it came out, and it was everything I imagined. So that's usually the answer I give, but I have so many. It's just so difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, through all the generations, and then even now, like last gen, I have bangers that I think about, like Persona 5, Bloodborne.
If
There's
you
just so
go
many.
if you go listen to our podcast, you can listen to us talk about our favorite games.
Oh yeah, we're always
All
talking
right.
about something.
So to give
Yeah.
all right, so to give you a little bit of leeway because mom expecting don't want you to have to dig through your whole gaming history to figure it out.
Okay.
Favorite game before you turn 20 years old.
Before I turn 20, that would definitely
Mm.
be Ocarina of Time.
All right, there it
When
is.
did
I'm
before
old, so
20?
What about you? What about you?
I'm
What about you, Char?
I mean, it'd probably be the same, right? Like Golden
You,
Sun Lost Age came out like
that's a
I
long
don't
time
fucking know,
ago.
long ass time
I mean,
ago.
Game Boy
Came
Advance is a
out.
long time
It was
ago.
2002. I was definitely not 20 in 2002. Yeah, yeah.
All right, slow mo, homie,
Yo,
the number one man that I always fall back on when I need any help with anything. Um, appreciate everything you always do for me. Also, what you do for the show, and what you do for me on Twitter because you make it so easy for me not have to go and fight people because you do it for me, and I appreciate that.
I ain't fighting nobody on Twitter no more, man.
Well, you
I'm
haven't.
done. I'm
Oh,
retired
you
from doing
retired?
all
Oh,
that.
Dang, Slow-Mo,
Oh,
always
I
fighting.
nobody. I don't. LaForte barely on Twitter. He don't
oh no! I
like.
see.
I don't.
I learned a very great lesson over a couple months, like a month ago, that Twitter, when it triggers you, you just walk away from it. And then I just realized that Twitter is a more peaceful place when I'm not there. So I jump
Yeah,
on there whenever I need to.
I don't mess around with Twitter like that. Like somebody annoys me, I just straight up block them and keep it moving. So
So
that's been the energy I've been on
so
for a
where can they
while.
find you? What you got going on? When's your next video coming out? And your favorite game of all time, which I think I already know the answer to, but tell
Everyone should know this answer at this
tell it to us
point.
again.
At least the chat. But yeah, slow mo backslap on everything, which is Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Uh My favorite game. Okay, okay, we go back. Video. Next video is coming. Who knows? I do lunchtime with slow mo
Black Hair Part
on
2.
the YouTube channel. Huh?
What?
Black Hair Part 2.
Black
Black Hair
hair
Video
part.
Games Part 2.
Maybe I need to play enough games to
The
justify. Like
red
I plan on doing an update, but it's probably going to be a while before I do the update to that because I want to give
the Starfield
developers
edition.
more time. Um,
Oh, true.
Starfield edition. That's what it should be good. Black Hair Part 2, the Starfield edition. Oh, let's go. I just gave you a great idea, bro.
that's gonna be a real short video. It's based off of what I saw. But no, I mean I'm working on a video about game engines. I'm still working on that. I know it's been a while, but I'm working on it. I still do lunchtime with slow mo as well as a DPS podcast will be on my channel next Thursday. So come through for that if you guys are willing to. And favorite game is Chrono Trigger. It will remain Chrono Trigger
It will remain
until
Chrono
something
Trigger
can topple it.
until
I
they.
should say Chrono Cross.
Oh yeah, you would have triggered him.
Shit.
He probably would have been triggered.
Messed it up. I forgot. Whatever.
You forgot who you forgot who you were talking to.
I forgot who I was talking to.
Oh my
Fucking
Chrono Cross, man.
bullshit.
But
No, I'm kidding.
well, next time we get you two amazing people over, we can definitely revisit that, and you can put them
Oh,
through
boy.
agony again at that point because that was great on the backlog when you did it too. For myself, Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation. This is episode 89 of the show. Next week will be 90. We are just about 11 episodes away from that fable 100 episodes, which obviously is going to be on Slow-Mo's channel because he has all the even numbers. So he'll have all the milestones on his channel, which is great because you don't have to worry about them being messed up or anything. But for myself, favorite game of all time. Well, video wise, I have a couple of things. I got a Forza video coming out tomorrow. I got some stuff around Destiny coming out on my other channel. So there's a lot of different stuff depending on where you find me at. But my favorite game of all time will always be Mass Effect 2 until something takes it out. Because I just there's nothing. God of War came close, but the God of War 2018 came close. But there is no game that has a better ending mission than Mass Effect 2. And until I get a mission that made me feel like the suicide mission, there is nothing going to unseat that game, at least in my eyes. So that's my favorite game of all time still at this point. And we really appreciate everybody coming through. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to all the love and support. And we will see you guys on the next... What is it? DPS podcast, Slow-Mo? Is that the name of our podcast?
You don't remember the name.
Wow.
I'm
You
just
almost had it. You almost had the outro, man.
Well, that's
Absolutely
a play on words because Gregor told
Is
me.
it?
Yeah, well, Gregor said Forte always forget the name of the podcast. So I just wanted to throw it out there and say I didn't forget the podcast. this time.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Let's go.
All right, you guys have a good week. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.